Scotty filter the alcohol out of everyone's system, so we'll all have to start drinking again. If you've gotten a head start,
oh man, that would be a very excellent idea to have done that.
Scotty siphons all the alcohol out of everyone beaming onto the ship and has it in a bottle for himself behind the transporter. Yes.
Just put me over there next to my man, please.
Let me see. Okay. I think I know what you mean. Let me see what I could do. Oh, hey, let's see.
She means move Martin up and me down.
I think I could do that in a second as we get word from the planet surface that Keith has in fact arrived just in time. Hello.
Hey,
everyone's kind of bordering on everyone. This works, right?
Yeah, this works.
Okay. Hello, welcome. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Keith.
Hey.
It's been a fun time. You guys, welcome back to the show. It's good to see you again. It's been a while, and thank you very much for coming. How's it been going, everybody?
Boogity boogie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just jonesing about the story with Paramount. You know, the possible sale and everything. I mean, this is an exciting time right now, and I hope it means good things for us Star Trek fans.
Did anybody talk to Tom Connors about this? Do we have any word from, say, him about what looks like what's going on, or what's Midnight's Edge saying about it? Because I had a few things going on this morning, like getting a tooth ripped out.
Well, right now, everything's still in the preliminary discussions phase, but it's looking more and more like Skydance just wants Paramount. Okay? So they're having to buy really everything out from under Sherry Redstone, her interest in the company at National Amusements. So it looks like David Ellison, the actual head of Skydance, all he's really interested in is Paramount, which is a good thing. You know, they're going to have to strip everything out and sell it individually, piece by piece, which means they're going to probably end up selling CBS also, because who really wants that headache?
Yes.
But here's the thing.
Thank God.
It's what kind of a deal are we looking at to separate Star Trek from CBS? Now, in my opinion, even though you have all these CBS executives that have been giving Sherry Redstone a hard time, I think once they're dealing with someone that's about their age, that actually knows how the game is played and whose father is a multi-billionaire, Larry Ellison in this case,
right?
I think they might be willing to be. I don't think they'd be interested in pulling as many tricks on him as they did Sherry Redstone, because she basically tried the same thing. She tried everything she could to get Star Trek corrected, and it didn't work. And it turns out the executives that are at CBS right now are about as bad as everybody working at Lucasfilm right now.
The story is that there are people in the management over there who hated Star Trek, but she's not one of them, and she wasn't part of the trying to wreck it thing, right?
Up to a point. I mean, what it was just that her dad ended up giving Star Trek, or taking Star Trek from Paramount and giving it to CBS. See, that's the difference. Whenever you have a major property like that, you at least have to do some kind of a deal. And I know it's an intercompany thing, because at the time when this happened, both companies were originally together, okay? But her father, Sumner Redstone, decided to try to make more money by splitting the whole thing apart.
Well, it was a deal he did with Les Moonves.
Mm-hmm. And so
it didn't seem that crazy at the time, to be honest.
It didn't, but that's the thing. And
well,
so
that's what happened. Oh, God.
CBS wanted their own version of Star Trek to make money from. That's really the entirety of all of this stuff with Kurtzman and what he's done is about giving CBS its own distinctive version of Star Trek, but making it close enough so that you could get real Star Trek fans to invest themselves, so they could basically use some of that sweet money as far as all of the merchandising and everything else. The thing is, it just like with Lucasfilm, it hasn't worked for Star Trek. And
I think what you're saying is Are they going to try to say license this out to get someone hopefully to have a good Star Trek show that starts to sell all their merchandise, including some of the junky stuff, by mistake? Is that the thought here?
No, I think David Ellison really does like Star Trek. Remember, Skydance has financed all 3 of the Kelvin Universe movies. Okay, but that's the thing. That's the thing. David Ellison is a fan. That's what I have heard. I heard he is a fan. He's a fan mainly of action movies and everything else. And I think the reason why he got in with JJ was because at the time when Skydance became a part of Paramount, Paramount no longer had Star Trek. But it was the only way he could do anything related to Star Trek. Well, now he's looking at it basically taking control of Paramount, or in this case, taking control of everything connected to Paramount, and then dividing everything back up, and basically taking Star Trek and putting it back under the Paramount banner so that he could run it and probably make whatever he wants. Now, does that mean that they're going to end up making another Kelvin movie? Probably, but they're going to have to negotiate for that. There's no guarantee that they're ever really going to be able to get all the actors back on board because of the amount of money and the fact that everybody's contracts have run out. So no matter what happens,
they're worth a lot more money today. Well,
that's
except
right.
for Zachary.
The thing is, you could bring them back to have them die. You know, I mean, and that's why Quentin Tarantino would have been perfect. You know, you could have had him out there creating all sorts of chaos and doing his thing, and it wouldn't have had any impact. You know, it's like, we can't afford this contract anyway. The guy doesn't want to come back, and it's like, you sure you don't want to come back to die a Tarantino death? And everyone would have stopped for a minute and at least thought about it. But according to what I got from Tom when I had a minute to talk to him on a Mead member chat, a Mead member stream, I just straight up asked him, tell me everything about Star Trek you can cram into the next 2 minutes. And that was one of the things he said, was that Tarantino was the one who walked out of that deal, not them, which surprised me greatly. Surprised me greatly that he looked around and said, with what you've done, you'll just undermine my movie. Or you seem to have absolutely no idea what you're doing, and it's absolutely not going to associate myself with your brand anymore, huh?
Well, that's it. Because look, JJ never really cared about Star Trek. He and all the people that he's trained, all of his acolytes, they all follow the same formula. And really what it comes down to is money. They want to basically get their hooks into an IP that is financially lucrative, and they want to be able to attach themselves to that to basically make money for doing next to nothing. And that goes for Star
Well, they didn't
Trek.
do next to nothing, Keith. They went to the right Northeast United States University with other well-connected people who had similar outlooks as to certain things. And, you know, if you and I don't know that means something among some people for absolutely no reason that we can understand. I mean, aside from the fact that I love my town and it's beautiful, like, there's a lot of horrible aspects to New York, too. I get it. One's not crime, but one might be, like, kind of suppression of, like, art. A lot of these people, I consider JJ to be kind of a New Yorker, right? Although how he manages to grow up in the walking around New York City and still have to relocate to go to college on the North Shore of Long Island and says he changed coasts is beyond me.
It's one of those weird mysteries. All I know is, in the end, there could be a major change coming. And one way or another, within the next 3 to 5 years, we either are going to have a Star Trek that's at least free of the influence of JJ and his people, with the exception of one more Kelvin movie, or we're going to have ourselves, it's going to be bad. And a lot of us are just going to have to walk away because it'll be totally swimming in Kurtzman and other things. That's the reason why Kurtzman's really trying to get all these movie deals done. No matter what happens, he wants to make sure to have the contract so that he can do whatever he wants. But
are you saying that freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose?
I'm not saying it. But a certain young woman from Texas did say it. So
Might she have been speaking of this situation, huh?
possibly.
And Anima, one of my friends here at Radioactive says hello to you. And that's Mark Harkness. Unfortunately, the years do fit together smoothly. One guesses 15-year thing was just a rough estimate. Space seed should have been 2271. Your mileage may vary. I'm willing a bit to throw out some time for the time that they spent in space that didn't square up either. Maybe from time distortions and going so fast, et cetera. But I would imagine when Kirk says 15 years, he's pretty much right on because it's just about 15 years for us, almost right on. Right? From 67 to about 81, 82.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And Captain Kirk he's surprised, to say the least. The Federation really screws that one up. I mean, how they lost track of a planet. But in this one, we've got a very different Star Trek movie that comes to the theaters first. It's 100% the TV people. They almost totally thought they were doing TV till they were told they weren't. And I don't know what to make of the production cost being said to be 35 million estimated, and the take to be 82 million in the US and 82 million equally valued dollars outside the US for like whatever that would be, 168 million or something like that, 164 million.
Something like that.
Yeah. So 35, you bring back 164. So Star Trek didn't really have a box office problem. It was the hottest movie that year for sure.
Well,
I don't think anyone made more money.
Well, but it was also the fact that it was a movie that wasn't quite finished, at least according to its director, and so they had to put something out because they put a date on there. See, this is one of those things about having a massive department dedicated to PR and all that other stuff. Some movies, when they start production, already have a date for the premiere. So you have to play to your deadlines. And this was a film that had a deadline. And so they had to basically have a finished movie so that they would have something to show during the premiere that was going to take place in Washington, D.C.
I saw the premiere. It was an interview with Shatner. He was either in New York or DC, someplace pretty metropolitan, getting ready to get to the premiere. What that meant, I don't know. But they're like, so what do you think of the movie? He's like, I love it, what I've seen. And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, well, I hope they finish it in time. They're like, what do you mean? He's like, well, they're working right down the 11th hour to get this one going. So I think you're in for something very special visually, but we'll find out. So he was already sort of tempering it, but he was very confident. I guess William Shatner has only one speed, right? When it comes to promoting William Shatner.
Well, it again, by that point, what we do know is that Shatner was already in his mind and deep down committed to just doing more Star Trek. If you remember, he was going to do Phase 2. And that would have been 5 more years technically on TV. And that everybody had signed up with the exception of Nimoy. And they were committed to eventually having that become a thing until Star Wars came out and changed the trajectory of what they were doing. And so it went from being a television production to a film. And basically a lot of the basics were still there. Of what you saw in the movie is really what the television show Phase 2 was going to be. Kirk was going to basically everything you saw in Star Trek: The Next Generation was originally what they had planned for Star Trek.
Especially season 2.
Yeah. Some of the episodes.
And the pilot for TNG was basically almost a remake of the motion picture. You had Riker is Decker, and
Troy is
Ilea. Yeah.
Same dynamic, same mystical powers.
And Data is Zahn. He is Zahn, the Vulcan that is the Einstein of Vulcans, who was originally created for Phase 2 because they had to replace Nimoy's character.
Because you remember during the strike, they had to go back and use some of those scripts from Phase 2 for Next Generation, and including the one where, remember the devil says
Yeah.
that
Arda.
that was originally supposed to be a Phase 2 script.
Yep.
You know what? I wonder how far they got along thinking it was going to be a TV show, like halfway through the pilot and beginning to get ready to film with all costumes done. And they're like, nope, it's already over budget to the point it must be a movie. Because even though it sounds like nothing now, 35 million, that was a lot of money at the time.
Well, now you got to remember, this was for an early. This was for a completely different reason that they were doing this. See, they were planning on Paramount getting their own network, and so they were going to create a brand new Star Trek series to lead that off. And so, having the return of Star Trek with the entire original cast, with the exception of Leonard Nimoy, come back for what was essentially Star Trek Phase 2, as they called it. And so they were already doing, I'm sure on YouTube you could find the footage from some of the test footage they were doing in terms of costumes and in terms of
They looked really bad.
sets. Well, it looked like it continued. Well, they were using the costumes from the original TV series.
It was unfortunate that the people from Space 99 had an almost completely similar aesthetic.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
skin tight uniforms, stretchy, just looked really
There's
bad.
one or two that work. There was one
Yeah.
or two. Captain Kirk, I'm sorry, Admiral Kirk's Admiral uniform. That's gray, mostly dark gray.
The gray one with the high blunt collar. That's the best.
Yep.
Spock has a very similar uniform because he has the high blunt collar neck.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
And those are the good looking ones. The collarless ones look weird.
I like Captain Kirk's short sleeve T-shirt one too, where he's just
Yeah.
Well, he's
I
going
like
for his
that one.
leisure uniform like he did in the series.
I also like.
it's like 21-hour mission. He changes his uniform 4 times. Captain Kirk is like James Bond in this movie with the fashion statements.
Well,
Or
they had
more
to
like
make,
a female actor.
Especially his hairstyle. I remember his hair was changing all the time.
You know,
That was one of the things
I
that
wanna-
irritated me.
One thing I want to just say really quick is to hello to some more people who've come through the door. Mark Harkness, I think I said hello. My friend M5, my friend Sean Carter. Sean, thank you so much for that $5 super chat. By the way, this is whenever I see my friend M5, I hear it in the voice of the M5 computer. What? Skydance is responsible for stinkers like Kelvin, Timeline, World War Z.
well, you
It's,
know, again,
That
the
does
ultimate
not
computer.
compute.
you got it again. there-
Skydance is the death knell of track. This unit must endure.
Look, we're going to see what's going to, one way or another. This is gonna basically, there's gonna be something at the end of all this. David Ellison definitely has plans for Paramount, and I'm thinking, as I said earlier on our Thursday morning coffee show, I think the best way to go right now with the Kelvin cast is to do individual deals with all the actors. And if David Ellison is also running Paramount, which technically he's basically been financing Paramount anyway through Skydance, they could end up getting all these actors back to at least do one last Kelvin film so that JJ could make one last attempt to make whatever money from merchandising and then just get out. I mean, just leave and allow David and his father to run this new venture. And I think,
Whoa. We got thank you. Sean, thank you very much.
And definitely it stinks of Phase 2, that script. Clearly Data's character is the Spock type character, or the one that was going to be played by David whatever his name is, that was set to play the Vulcan.
Zahn, XON was his name, Zahn.
No, I'm talking about the actor's name.
Okay.
David Grautu, something like that.
So,
Oh, hey.
Gratro.
What?
Gratro. That's his
Gratro?
name.
Okay.
Yeah, it ends with an X. The X is silent.
Oh, Graveau. I thought it was okay.
No, there's no V. There's a T in there.
Oh, there's a
It's
T, okay.
Gratro.
Okay.
And he was set to play the new Vulcan on Phase 2,
Mhm.
and then they decided to go with a film. And to make it up for him, he's the commander of the first Starfleet vessel that runs into V'ger.
Yep. So this is a movie that I can remember just being beyond excited for, but also a little amazed because nobody had ever done anything like this before. You
This
had
came out of
never.
left field for all of us. We thought to be maybe a TV movie or something. It was like the era of the miniseries. That's what I felt like was in the air.
Well, Paramount wanted a hit movie like Star Wars, and this seemed to be the most likely vehicle to get what they needed.
See, I've seen that associated with the idea that there was a change in tone and thinking at that point, and that's when it goes from this should be a series or a miniseries to let's make this a movie. And that's when they start rewriting things.
And they wanted to do it serious. I want to point that out.
Yeah.
They didn't focus on the fun. They focused on the serious. And they brought in a guy who did one of the first serious sci-fi films ever made, which was Day the Earth Stood Still, Robert Weiss.
Isn't he the editor of Citizen Kane as well, right? Something like that?
Yeah, he worked on Citizen Kane. This guy knows his work. I mean, this guy was so versatile. He did West Side Story. He did Sand Pebbles, one of the greatest war films ever made. And he did Day the Earth Stood Still, The Sound of Music, for God's sakes. This guy was so versatile, and he knew what he was doing. But the problem is, and I've never really seen a good breakdown, but I feel that there was subterfuge and he was being sabotaged really pretty much from the get-go. And I don't think from the cast, I think it was an all internal production issue from Gene Roddenberry and his fucking dickhead partner.
Yeah, the guy that that dude was a terror.
Harv Bennett.
No, Harv Bennett wasn't working with him. Harv Bennett
I thought he was working with him at this point.
No. Harv Bennett was actually brought in.
Oh, well, was it the lawyer then? Because I know there was a troublemaker.
The lawyer.
Yeah.
So what it came down to for this movie, at least from my memory of it, is the fact that a lot of people, as Gary had said earlier, a lot of people expected some kind of a TV movie or something. To have it come onto the big screen with the entire original cast on a big screen version of this movie was huge. And given what some of the ideas were originally when they decided to make it a movie, and how they were able to go from, well, let's just get rid of the cast and hire real quote unquote movie stars.
Robert Redford. Yeah, they're looking at like total recast with new actors playing these characters.
So it was Robert Redford as Kirk, and it was Walter Matthau as McCoy, and it was I could see his face in my head.
Space 1999.
Yeah.
Martin Landau.
Martin Sedan. Oh, Landau.
Because Martin Landau was one of the first actors considered for Spock.
For the television series.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
TV show. And then they were going to bring him back to play Spock for the movies.
He impressed Desilu. They liked him. They had him on contract. I could see why. I guess with no further ado, I mean, hey guys, you could split your screens between two devices. That would be great. If not, you're cool too. Do me a favor. YouTube loves if you can't help me out like that. Just tweet out that we're here and let people know. Maybe we could make up with numbers that we lose in split streams. But I'm gonna set off. Not even play. I'm gonna set off our movie, and I guess we'll just continue to talk about it. It won't be urgent for a minute because this is the first movie released was it 28 or 35 years or something like that that has an overture before it. So that's what you'll hear first if you're watching via the link.
Amazing music, amazing score. This film deserved way better than what it actually got. And now that the film is technically finished, I do personally like that version of it, but this one still holds a place in my heart because this is how I first saw it. So,
no, This is the director's edition. This is the
Oh,
last.
this is okay. Well then, yes, excitement.
This is the 4K cut. Also, I will
Yes.
point out that Teague and I were talking about this before. In fact, talked about it earlier. We talked about it previously. That this was this was the final film to utilize the overture at the beginning.
I don't know how close it was to for instance, I don't know if they had a model of the V'ger ship that didn't make it into the movie or sketches, but they went back to as much of a source as they allegedly could. And this movie is the most improved of the recuts, and I would say Wrath of Khan most damaged by far. Just devastating blows on Wrath of Khan at the beginning. Devastating blows.
Destiny's Captain, I want to point this out. Harv Bennett is why Star Trek V turned out the way it did.
Yep.
Not Shatner.
Not Shatner. It's Harv Bennett.
If you don't want to say bad words about him, then just say Star Trek V.
Hello, Andy Morrow. And Carla Batten's here, my good friend. Miss Katonic Madman, hello.
The
Finally,
ironic
Kitty
thing
and
about that
Spider-Man.
situation, Teague, was
What's that?
that he wanted to get away from the original crew and start focusing on the next generation. So he pushed for Undiscovered Country to be their final film, and then for them to do Generations. Ironically, he got snubbed. Harv Bennett got snubbed and was not part of Generations.
Well, that plus the fact that he ticked off one of the cast members.
I agree, by the way, M5. This is true. Anybody want to comment on that one?
I agree.
Which one?
Yeah.
Currently,
No, I've already said this multiple
It's
times.
Nomad, yeah.
It is
we
Nomad.
all agree. It's also got a part of the Doomsday Machine in it because it's about as powerful as Nomad too.
It's
Yeah.
Doomsday, and V'ger is Doomsday and the story of the changeling.
No matter what,
Nomad.
no matter what we think of the origin of the name, V'ger is sufficiently alien and menacing and sounds like a dangerous thing. Now we see the Paramount logo. It's in every Indiana Jones movie except the bad one. I don't think it has it. Thank God. The one that's not actually Indiana Jones. Now, how'd they get by without Kathleen Kennedy's coffee in this franchise, huh?
Lucky,
See,
I
we
guess.
all agree that Indiana Jones franchise has 3 movies, not more.
I think the 5th one is so bad that I can now enjoy moments of the 4th. Moments. Feel there's stuff in there that I can still relate to and have a good-natured laugh. The movie doesn't hate Indy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You
The
can
5th
take
one
it
has
or
like
leave
20
it.
minutes that are watchable. The rest of it,
that movie's indie hating propaganda.
Pretty much. And
here they
again,
are.
it's in the wrong decade. Given
Yeah,
how old Harrison Ford is, that film, because they waited too long, that film should have
Been in the 80s.
In the 80s.
And yeah, that and why the hell Indiana Jones College moves wholesale from Illinois to Manhattan? That baffled me because in Indiana Jones 4, when they drive away from it, they're in cornfields and wheat fields in no time. That's not anywhere near New York, you know, not even then.
Well, I mean, it's the fantasy.
So here we go. We get our TNG theme. It serves us well. There's a couple.
Absolutely,
of TNG
and it makes sense when you look at what they did with the pilot that they would bring this theme over.
Even by way of the costumes.
Oh, the stretchy spandex, yeah. This is my favorite part.
Like I said, Gary, you gotta love this because the V'ger instrument. Do you care to share the story?
Well, it's Jerry Goldsmith and a
V'ger
guitar, and his son. He's used it in numerous films. Planet of the Apes, that gong sound, and his son uses it now.
He uses that, but he invented something specific just for the sound of V'ger, that extreme tungsten bend. They say it's a tungsten filament. There's some video of him saying it too. It's a tungsten filament suspended between 2 sawhorses, and he strikes it with a metal hammer and rolls an artillery shell along it like a slide on a guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like physically it works. If you play the guitar mentally in about 10 seconds, you're like, that works out. That fits the rules of using a filament to make noise. It's like, wow. Because
Now I
they
want
said
to
his
point out real
first
quick,
soundtrack was rejected.
Mark Leonard. This is Mark Leonard.
Yeah.
Yes. Worth noting. He's completed the trifecta. He's been
He was
everything
the
but a human
first
now.
Romulan. He played Spock's dad, and he plays the first Klingon in Star Trek: The Motion Picture with a bumpy forehead.
And is he not the only actor to have played everyone except the human?
Yeah, I don't think he ever
Right?
played a human.
No, but he's been a Romulan, a Vulcan, and a Klingon, all three major Star Trek races.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
welcome, everybody. We're so glad you're here.
By the way,
Thanks
that
for
painting of
joining us.
V'ger looks so much like something that H.R. Giger would have done.
You know what it is? I heard that V'ger was created by pouring salt water into fresh water in a gigantic pool.
I would not be surprised.
Mm.
But V'ger can actually be seen in the movie. That's
Yes,
the one
in this version of our movie, you will finally see V'ger after 44 years.
Well-
I am bringing it to you all.
I hate to
With the
spoil
help
it.
of Martin.
I hate to spoil that, but I'll let you have a little bit of the moment before I tell you. Actually, in every version of the movie, V'ger can be seen. There's a
Not
scene.
very well.
Yeah, not very well, but you got to know where to look. In the third act of the movie, there's a scene that on the bridge of the Enterprise, where if you look at one of the monitors, they actually show you what V'ger looks like.
I know it's exactly what you're talking about. And when I saw V'ger, the ship, I'm like, "Yup, bing," and it lined up right away.
Yep.
And you're like, so that's what they're trying to tell us.
Yes.
But it's that much of a head smacking moment. And to me, it improved this movie a star, but it can never redeem this movie's central theme, which is, well, it's okay what it did because it's sorry and it evolved.
Okay, here he is.
We had to destroy V'ger. Yep. Imagine being this guy. It's like I would have been,
There's David Gertrude, who was supposed to be the Vulcan on the news.
I feel so bad for him. It's like, I was Spork. I was the new Spork. Could you imagine the hate you would have gotten replacing Leonard Nimoy? I don't know how long it would have taken for audiences to replace him. He might have been spared something there.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, V'ger was actually played by Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, of course. V'ger is with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah. It only makes sense when you think about it. Think about
that
it.
was Jennifer Lawrence at that space station who was telling them to call in the threat of V'ger. She knew what to do.
V'ger stood for Jennifer Lawrence's vagina.
Oh
my God.
Oh no.
Please.
It was nice being monetized.
I'm not involved with this joke in any way, shape, or form.
Oh no.
I don't
By the
know
way,
if
that's
team
Doug
is next
Trumbull again with the lighting effects. He's the one who brings in the cool lens flares that don't look crazy.
And
Doug
welcome to
Trumbull, of course,
everyone out
from
there
Blade Runner,
for all forums.
Brainstorm, 2001:
By
A
the
Space
way,
Odyssey.
Was anyone else ever able to deduce that was a super harmful scan, or was I the only one who was like, "What?"
Yeah, well, it's total deresing. Just like
Yes,
they talk about a Tron.
deresing is a very good way of
Derez.
putting it.
Only Klingons see an object.
They're Klingons, not Klingons.
Two astronomical units in size. And what is their first reaction? Shoot!
Shoot! It's almost like the main characters in King Kong, 1933, shooting everybody.
Yeah.
It's
a dinosaur. Shoot it!
It's an
It
utterly
moves
and
before they even identify it, they
completely
shoot.
insane.
Wow. Gorgeous.
The bow.
What do you think, guys? A princess and a guy like me?
No.
No.
Rich, huh? I don't know. She kind of has spunk.
I'm a man. I'm not going to wear jewelry. Fuck off. Sorry.
No, Spock. I didn't realize this as a little kid in the movie theater. I was like, why is Spock all weird? I didn't realize he was sensing. He's sensing V'ger
Yep.
because it's like this massive intellectual magnet or something. That we don't really. I'm not really sure why else. It's so orderly and so instinctual that even though it's a machine, it has like a organic like aura.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Spock, you know, I don't know how you feel about this, but do you think he should have gone and served in that first Cardassian war? Or was he right to go back to Vulcan and grow his hair, sit this one out? Yeah, right? This seems like hippie Spock. He's like hanging out in Canada.
Well, you know, he did leave everything behind to join a commune, so
I like that they're like kind of vague on that. It could have been last weekend. We don't know how hard this merit badge really is. It's like when he hangs out with the other Vulcans, he's got like the Boy Scout sash, and it's like, whoa, Koanar. And he's like, that's correct. We didn't even try. That was wise. And like that's I don't know. The Vulcans that confused me. I didn't know what to make of it, but you could tell Spock definitely troubled, sensing something. And what do you guys think of their future city here? In 100 years or so, San Francisco will be okay. It's trending that way. In about 200 years, it'll be fine, right?
I don't think Earth
yeah.
is ever going to be that clean, to be honest.
I don't know, man. Like in my town, people kind of like love being from New York and love being New Yorkers and love their fellow New Yorkers. And then from out west, it's people sort of really just hate San Francisco and talk about little else.
Okay.
It seems to just drive people insane. Something may have failed there. I don't know. I'm not going to defend it. Everybody can't be wrong. I'm not dismissing what they say either. But wow, something's going on there that's just making people unhappy. I love Starfleet Command. Could you imagine working here?
Oh, geez. Just the
Yes.
activity, the constant
Yes, please.
buzz. I'd
They still
always
have
wanted to see
escalators.
it. You know, years of watching the show. And to finally see Starfleet Command, you know, by the time I made it this far into the movie, I was losing my mind, you know, and yet they still hadn't shown the Enterprise. So it's like, okay, got to pace
I
myself.
think so far the most meaningful moment to me in this movie was it's my intention to be on that ship when she launches. Not equivocating at all.
Hey, Kirk was a guy that knew what he wanted, even when he didn't readily admit it.
Oh, he's
I really
always
love
wanted
this.
it, even as
This
a kid.
space station is so freaking cool.
And believable.
I love how
looks real
everything's
enough.
moving slowly, nothing moving quickly.
It's a little Asimovian. It's got some 2001
Well, this is
bleed over DNA.
clearly they were going for that. That's why they got Doug Trumbull involved. Doug Trumbull directly connects with 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yep.
I like that Star Trek tried to do something different and non-formulaic, but this might have been the wrong choice for movie one.
Well,
I think it works, but it's missing the character. The characters is missing. The close relation. You get little hints of it here and there, but it needed more. And that's what we got with Star Trek 2. Star Trek 2 is really the first film that displays the characters the way we remember and love them.
Yep.
The actors actually were really frustrated because the characters weren't used
Well,
in the right way.
Well, they were told to restrain themselves.
Yes, and they didn't like it.
Well, they
And-
were.
and-
I think.
Well,
go ahead.
William Shatner needed to restrain himself here because, we'll have about 5 minutes to talk about stuff when he looks at his own ship in a minute.
Rear
So, like,
screen
William-
protection in a miniature.
William Shatner really needed to restrain himself here in this movie to be believable. He needed to give us the kind of William Shatner that we've come to enjoy as Captain Kirk. He needed to dial it back into what he used to be. This is 2.5 years after what would have been the end of his 5-year mission. Star Trek lore, even though I think this is book only, is that only the Enterprise made it back of all 12 ships that went on that mission. So he's a hero. I believe this movie finds him as head of Starfleet animation. And he's sort of like a little out of character in the sense that he ruthlessly takes control of the Enterprise back from Will Decker in a way that
Absolutely.
goes beyond what he needs to. He still had tactical control of that ship on that bridge. He didn't have to, be. And he doesn't. I thought it was. And as a kid, the name didn't miss the mark with me as a Star Trek fan. I knew Decker, and I figured that out right there in the theater the first time. I think we all knew that this was supposed to be Matt Decker's kid. Do we all wave Gene Roddenberry's "the books aren't canon" rule on Decker? We do, right? I do. He's Will Decker. Will Decker is
Well,
Matt
he's
Decker's
kind of
son.
full of crap because Gene said that Star Trek V isn't canon, and I'm sorry, it still is.
Don't you dare say anything about Gene Roddenberry bad on this channel, mister.
I'm
That's
not
as far
talking
as you
bad
go,
about him.
Commodore. I'm
Shut
just
up,
kidding.
Teague. I'm not talking bad about Gene. I love Gene. I had to pull over on the side of the road and cry when he died.
I cried.
I didn't even cry over my grandmother dying. I sure cried when he died. But no, Gene just had some wrong ideas about things. That if it didn't come from him, it's not canon.
Right. So when he said all the books aren't canon, that means that Riker is Matt Decker. Decker is Will Decker's son, Matt Decker's son, simply because he wrote that book.
Yeah.
He's got the top name on that one. Yeah. No, it doesn't matter. Like Gene Roddenberry means what he means until he doesn't mean it anymore.
Yep.
And the book is closed on his canon, so we don't have to worry too much. We can come to reasonable accommodations and concessions between fans. I did not like this uniform right away. It irked me.
Who? What? Which one?
Or any of them. I thought they should have
I
been
like
much
Kirk's one
closer.
here.
It's not terrible, but how about something just closer
This
to
is
their original tunics?
Shatner was
This was-
super unhappy with the uniform because he had to wear a corset under it to make it look good, and he needed help putting it on and off. The actors all were
Shatner.
fond of the
Well, I want
uniforms.
to point out this is a real
Sorry,
looking,
Mr. Shatner.
really good looking uniform that Shatner's wearing. The ugly one is the one Scotty's wearing. Although Scotty's would look better if they had a collar underneath it, like they used to wear in Star Trek. There was a turtleneck or something.
I like Sulu's uniform. The first time you see him on the bridge, the black shirt with the jacket and matching pants. That's actually kind of nice, and I wish they had done more than just that one scene with.
So go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
No. I just wish we could have seen more people wear that, other than just in that one scene. So,
but the best looking uniform in the film is Spock's uniform when he gets his bridge uniform.
Yeah,
because he's got the black collar that gives you the feel of the old Star Trek uniform.
The one thing I will say is, I like, as far as Kirk's uniform, this uniform would have been cool, and he does in fact do this because it seems to be this is like Starbase duty Admiral uniform. You know what I mean? It's a little more formal. This is supposed to be his version of what husband B. Kimmel had on the morning of December 7th, 1941.
I love the paint job on this model.
This scene of him admiring his ship is great, but they're able to use the same montage and cut about half of it out, and it has about twice as much weight in Wrath of Khan. I think it's because we love the ship so much. No other Star Trek had
Well,
an
they needed this.
Enterprise
Is the
that
first
we
time we've
loved.
seen the ship since the series, and they wanted to show how different it was. It's nerd porn. This is pure nerd porn.
It looks so incredibly real, though. Like as a kid, like you're like this is a slow paced movie, but as a little kid, just seeing how James Kirk regards his ship, and you think of episodes like where he's got where he's got the disease from Naked Time, and he's like, "Never lose you. I'll never lose my commands." And it's like, wow, she's a beautiful lady, and we love her. Kind of all coming home.
Now, I'm going to point out, though, the one thing I don't like in this film is his hairpiece. It's
This might
too
be the
different.
worst one.
It's too different from what his hair was. Wispy. He had wispy hair. Now, all of a sudden, it's wiry.
Yeah, it just didn't work. I think what it is, it's always been in all of the above for Mr. Shatner. And I think it's like he may have like some hairpiece going on, and there's some plugs around it that he's like shoring it up with. He's trying to make the transfer. He gets there by Journey Home.
All the hair on the side is his. It's the hair right over the widow's peak area because his bald spot is right here. And that's all he wore.
Well,
And he this was his TJ Hooker type hair, and I just didn't like it.
One thing I thought was he looked extraordinarily young and great.
I think they should have given him a hint of gray.
Well, they
only
tried to
42.
de-age the actors, quote unquote, because this is happening only a few years after the series ended. But
Yeah, it's 5 years
actors are
and
10 years
not
older.
10. He's actually
Yeah.
10 years older, yeah.
It's 7.5 years since episode 1 with Kirk.
And I'm glad they didn't do that with the oncoming films. They made the aging of the actors a part of it.
All the cast complained that it was preposterous to make them play 15 to 25 years below their age, so they allowed enough time to pass to sync up with right about the age they were supposed to play when they were cast.
Why is he in his underwear? Jesus. It looks like thermal underwear. The yellow.
And look at the carpet padding on the walls.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It's carpet padding.
I love the way it's like in movers rugs. I like that he walks out there with the high collared white tunic, and it's like a Starfleet officer and a gentleman, right?
My God, that man has a big forehead.
Wow.
I do like Sulu's outfit.
I always find out that they greet him as captain.
That is how you address the leader on the bridge. It's captain.
And Sean Carter, thank you again. Devil's Due is phase 2. Makes sense when Audra claimed the Enterprise as a property.
That is
Kirk's
a
line
split.
was, what does Devil need with the starship? I'll have to
That
watch
was a
Audra again soon.
That was a split diopter they just did there for that shot with Uhura in the foreground.
The many shots in this movie are shot like that.
Well, the
that
person who
Chick
made it
Fil A
famous in modern film is that director I can't stand. He's a commie.
De Palma.
Did Carrie?
Ma-
Did the movie
Malkovich?
Carrie? No, he
Brian De
directed
Palma?
Carrie. Yeah, Brian De Palma. He absolutely is a huge user of split diopters.
As they said in that Godfather meeting of Dons, I too hate communism. But people come to my men and say, we can give you other stuff for free. And now they can't say no.
Hey, it's Decker, the guy that likes girls.
Let's not talk about his problems. Hello, Keely Chow.
Hey, Keely, what's up?
Snorty's-
I just noticed Snortus Poopus is here.
Hi, Snort.
Snorty's been with us. Thank you, Snorty. I love the way, the engine rooms look great in these movies. These sets were really great. And I guess the fact they thought they'd be around and they thought they'd make TV out of them made them a little more durable and able to survive the breakdown and everything else going on. because they're gonna get stored, as in broken down. So was anybody surprised when Mr. Riley didn't show up? Not spoiler alert, guys. Mr. Riley didn't make it into the movie. I was sad.
Who? Wait, what?
Remember Riley?
Yeah, Kevin Riley.
Yeah, he was the guy who he took over the Enterprise engine room in Naked Time and sang "Take Me Home Again, Kathleen," and also was on the planet with Kodos. Yeah, I was like hoping he would be in this. Hey, Into the Wind. Jonathan Hancock, did I say hello to you, my friend? Blaster Beam. Admiral Teag's ST5 was also victim to the strike of '88. That's true. They couldn't get good special effects. That's why I think William Shatner should be allowed to make his own director's cut now if he wants to, while he's still alive.
We need his cut of that film.
Yes,
and it won't
please.
matter if there's two because we'll have the other one anyway. I just want his vision to be completed. If there's something that he's not happy with, I want it changed because I love William Shatner. What can I tell you? Yeah, you know what? I think it's Rumble, guys. My Rumble stream didn't work either. I'm sorry, Rumblers. I mean, if it's working, it's working. I'm going to check it later.
By
But
the
it
way,
appears
that's
it's not
Janice
happening.
Rand behind him.
Yes.
Mhm.
And by the way, guys, these screams are going to ask you a question. Well, we're up to the transporter accident, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's when I realized it was Rand seeing it in the theater.
Who didn't have a thing for her back in the original series, man? She was gorgeous.
Do you
Yeah, but her
think
character always irritated me. Like, what's her point? Just
Quick
grabbing
question.
Kirk's arm and
She's there for one reason and one reason only. Kirk.
Having a female, yeah.
I have a question for the panel. Those screams that we heard at the end of the dematerialization failure, are those the screams that we hear when Captain Terrell blasts David's friend and the squeals of the SETI eels in
Nope.
Wrath of Khan? No, they sound a
No.
whole lot like it. Sound like a little bit like
No.
slowed down. All right. I always was inclined to believe it was the same.
Apparently, you are full of snortopoopas.
Oh, I wouldn't say
can-
that, but now, you have forced me to examine the waves in both movies. What have you done?
I don't know what he said. Can somebody translate what he just said to me?
He's going to listen to the screams in both movies and see if there's anything to what I'm saying. I think when the SETI
Teague is the only
eels-
person that takes me seriously and actually translated what you just said, Martin.
Yeah, we all stopped there.
The thing
He
is,
understands Martin just fine.
It's
the
my
thing
show. I have an obligation. It's for our audience, not so much
the
for
thing
you.
is, sometimes he indeed doesn't get me, and at this point, I don't know when he's trolling me and when he's being serious.
I can
I
usually
know.
tell when he's trolling.
I can kind of tell when he's trolling. I just assume, unless he says I'm serious, he's trolling.
Now, what did you guys think of the stainless steel look of the hallways?
I love it.
I think it makes sense considering what the ship's been through. Yeah, I gotta say, it's a very, very appropriate look.
Now, I want to point out
And,
in the crowd here, you have Bijo Trimble, who almost single-handedly saved Star Trek, and
Sure.
David Gerald, the guy who wrote Tribbles, is in the crew scene here.
Wait.
He-
That's
These
Two of
are
his
our
kids are in
friends.
there too, right?
Yeah, the two sons of James Doohan are also
that-
in there.
They had a lot of fans as extras because they couldn't
Yep.
pay for real extras.
Well, they had a contest, is what they did.
Okay, immediately next to his shoulder, that's David Gerald, the guy that wrote Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people.
And the
that,
little short lady, that's Bijo Trimble.
and her
I
husband.
think this.
Oh, that's right, her husband's there.
This scene is completely CGI because I'm positive that Jason Isaac said that before his Star Trek wasn't diverse. So this has to be CGI.
Jason Isaacs
Ever
Blank,
since
blank,
Jennifer
blank.
Lawrence stepped on there with the first ever black Star Trek actor, Star Trek has been known for its diversity. This is like you were going to be the crew of the new Enterprise show, a new Star Trek show, and then something unlikely happens and they bring back the other people, something that most people didn't see coming. And the old people who come back, their first thing is like, yeah, I think I want you to on camera kill my replacement. On camera, Spock's replacement is Somak. He gets melted down into bubblegum. Whoever this guy was supposed to be. But I got to say, I love the V'ger effect.
Again, this is a mixture of Industrial Light and Magic. I forget the other company's name, and Douglas Trumbull.
I think one of William Shatner's wives is in this crowd too. She's on the bridge later.
I like how the Andorian expression is. Meh. Seen
Yeah.
it worse.
Yeah, I've seen worse on a show called Enterprise.
Thank you, Spidey. Yes, did he?
That was David Gerald right in the front and center.
By the
I used
way,
to be friends with David Gerald until he realized I was conservative, and then he unfriended me.
That's ridiculous.
Aw.
By the way, if I've noticed there are no small parts, just small actors. A lot of times, if you notice, when Captain Kirk walks by, people openly give him admiring glances and kind of want to talk to him. They're kind of looking to speak to Captain Kirk sometimes. You know what I mean? And when he walks by, they're kind of like, oh, darn. You know what I mean? It's like when he got off that shuttle at Starfleet Command, that guy was like, oh, Ambassador Kirk. And he just like waves his hand and keeps walking. And the guy's like, oh, man. Looking forward all day to meeting James T. Kirk.
And there she is.
Here's a funny little thing that I found out when I did research for the show we did after Initials passed. They forgot to do new earpieces for Uhura, so they had to use the original ones from the TV series.
Oh, wow.
That's
I like
the
that,
only
though. That's
thing from the
cool.
TV series.
It
because
helps.
They had to go
It
dig them
helps.
out. They had to go dig them out because they forgot they needed them. So
To
it's
be
the only
honest, it
original one.
really, really helps.
I like this
Right.
interaction.
So,
Yeah, I
You
like
just-
Captain Kirk's like, you're from high libido chick planet. And she's like, my oath of celibacy is on record. It's like, here's some right
so
down.
don't be trying to put your admiral in me.
Yeah.
There'll
Exactly.
be no
He's like,
launching.
challenge accepted.
Kirk is dumber as an admiral than he is as a captain in general. He's dumb until like the end of the journey home, the voyage home.
Oh, he does pretty good in Wrath of Khan.
Well, he's a cheap.
He does nothing except get caught with his britches down.
Well,
he
Yeah,
was
but he's
saying.
aware of it.
Yeah,
he-
that's true.
He has achieved more than he ever thought. You got to remember, Kirk's purpose ultimately was to become a starship captain because it was a very powerful position.
By the way, radioactive. I don't know if this is true, but let's just say it like Yoda. A design that rejected it was. I mean, I don't think that design was particularly Star Trek for the pizza-shaped, thing. Like it was way too Imperial Cruiser, and then both franchises would have looked alike. So I'm glad they didn't go with it, even though I don't like the Kelvin Star Trek ships at all. Oh boy, do they suck.
By the
Look at
way,
that
Bones has a
beard.
hairy chest.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was
but
at
look at that
Studio
beard.
50.
Okay, now with this
He's got
scene,
cocaine on him.
you know where Bones was.
Studio
Yes,
54.
with his wife.
Yeah, he was
54.
he was at Yanara. He went back when he left Starfleet. He went to join his wife in Yanara, and that's where he's been all this time. From
I
the
believe that
episode,
he had- Go ahead.
oh,
Sorry.
from the episode for the world was hollow, and I have touched the sky.
Here's my opinion. Yes, he lives exactly like that, but in this particular instance, because they had to have gotten him from Earth, because they don't have time to detour, they have to intercept V'ger. he had gone to Earth just to do business under the guise of needing some time away, and was just hanging out at Studio 54 doing a lot of cocaine. Just look how he's dressed. He's got a medallion. He was like, I was just hanging out with Mick and Keith, and you beamed me the hell up here. God damn it. He's like, I know engineers. They probably found that stash I left behind my old bunk.
Rigelian weed. Rigelian weed.
Anything's better than that spider weed shit that Raffi sucks that gives her like
Sour and brandy was his poison.
Dane Bramage.
As long as it's not the kind of weed that makes you stab somebody 100 times.
Hey, buddy.
Oh my God.
Let me tell you something about Star Trek V, because Gary had alluded to it earlier. The reason why Harv Bennett is not the savior of Star Trek is that what you ended up seeing in the theatrical release is what Harv Bennett had negotiated to put up there. The novelization.
He wanted Star Trek to end, and so they can move to Next Generation.
The novelization to Star Trek V is a way better version of the movie, because it's based on an earlier version of the script that William Shatner had written.
Gentlemen, real quickly, and wow, William Shatner again writing some Star Trek stuff. We've got yet another uniform on Kirk here. Thoughts? Anybody? Martin, why don't you go first? You've been quiet.
What?
What do you think of this new uniform for Kirk? This is like his third look of this movie.
Yeah, he's showing off his wardrobe.
Nah, I only really like the white and gray one.
He has more costume changes than Faye Dunaway.
You know, and that's something the Star Wars people could remember. Like in that whole Ahsoka show, every single female character except Ahsoka had only one outfit. I remember when female characters in Star Wars had several different outfits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a movie.
Princess Leia was the only one that stayed in the same costume from opening to end.
No, she has she has two costumes in A New Hope. She has the throne room princess outfit is much different than the.
Oh, that's right. Right at the very end, she finally changes. That's right.
It's the first chance she had.
Yeah,
oh, man.
I wonder how her underwear smelled by the end of that movie.
Oh
man.
Do you have to be like that?
Wait.
Yes.
There's no underwear in space, remember?
There's no underwear in space. There's no stinky crotch in space.
Oh.
Carrie,
or in space, no one can smell your crotch.
God damn it, man.
Someone save me, please.
I feel for you. I feel for you, Anima.
Thank you. Just help, but thank you.
That's what the blind guy said too.
But
just real quick to Star Trek V. I don't know if I want him to change any of this story, but if he feels like he deserves a more enhanced shuttle crash or like combat sequence between two ships, I say for God's sake, give it to him, and it won't hurt the fact that there'll be two. It won't hurt the world to have another version of it where he gets exactly what he says he wanted. It's give him what he wants. He's William Shatner. Problem is not William Shatner. The problem is Paramount. They're idiots for going against their greatest star. Idiotic.
Yeah. Well, again, Shatner wasn't looking to do anything too big. The thing is that the plot and story of what Star Trek V was exactly what the novelization had. And it was Harv Bennett that started doing all the goofy stuff and started basically, look, what had happened was Nimoy did not get along with Harv Bennett. So all you Harv Bennett lovers, listen up. Leonard Nimoy did not like Harv Bennett. Let me repeat that. He did not like Harv Bennett. Nimoy was going to dip out of Star Trek V when he found out that Harv Bennett was going to be a part of the production.
And don't forget to mention that Nimoy warned Shatner.
Yeah, he warned Shatner about Harv Bennett. He told him not to trust him. In fact, Nimoy probably would have been, he intimated that he would have felt better about the production had Harv Bennett not been involved.
But one thing I have to say about Star Trek V that I love the most is it is some of the best relationship between the
Yeah.
crew scenes.
Yes.
Sulu's uniform's really weird. Like, why is he wearing like gray, like beige? You know, is
The
he the
beige
only
uniforms
person
look
who's
like underwear to me.
is he the only person wearing ship duty uniform? Is that what it is? Kirk's got his Starbase uniform on. Ilea was dragged off from somewhere else. Snorty.
Hey, John
Well-
Chipola's here.
Hey,
Hi, Onion.
John. John, welcome, my friend.
His
It's good
name
to
is
see
Onion
you.
in Italian. I'm sorry.
I
And
know, but
Killy Chow, hello.
Benny's here.
It's good to
Hi,
see
Penny.
you.
Hello, Penny.
Yeah, I was not too fond of the wormhole effects. It looked too CG.
I think this visualization of it is the best, though. It looks gorgeous. And they try to play a little bit by the rules of real-time travel, which don't really apply in other Star Trek movies. That
Lay that order.
Oh
Oh my God, there's some giant rock.
clear my browser history. Is that true? George Lucas wouldn't let her wear any underwear? That's cool. I mean, I guess that's so toxic and mean of him.
Well, I mean,
That's what I meant.
part
It's
of what
about-
Carrie Fisher ended up having a little bit of a contest, and whoever won for the day got the opportunity of cutting the tape off of her chest because she wasn't allowed to wear a bra. She had to tape her chest down. So
Sweet Carrie Fisher, she was so much fun.
yeah, she was. Yes, she was.
This part is really cool. I think this is maybe a little improved from what I saw at theaters.
Oh,
But yeah, we're getting into
dogs.
real time travel here, which is your perception and time don't really matter. Because I guess when they snap out of this, it's really a tenth of a second later. But to them, it's however long we see here.
Mhm.
At least they don't make a huge disaster of it. It's just like we encountered a time distortion, and it doesn't really seem to matter too much in the huge context of things.
Cuber, if JJ had made this, the wormhole would be one giant lens flare.
Oh God. You know, when he starts to brag about stuff like the fact he put supermarket scanners on the bridge, I'm like, dude, we noticed. Why are you boasting? And it's like he thinks that's really clever, and you're like, wow, you're supposed to be the intellectual leader of a group of Star Trek fans? A person who's fascinated by tissue boxes and stuff
Hey,
like
that was the Death Star
Weird.
explosion.
It could have been. You think it was?
No, but it was done the same way.
I just think that for him being able to sneak R2D2 into the movie and get away with it is pretty much the highlight mentally for him of that movie. So
That and Thor is Captain Kirk's dad.
That's true. Thor is Captain Kirk's dad.
That's why Kirk is so awesome.
My wits. I love that line. There are casualties. My wits.
Bones. See, everybody's got to have that one friend that just slides the zingers right in there.
You know what I noticed watching this for the first time? It never. I've been watching the movies kind of in proximity.
Mm-hmm.
It never dawned on me before, but one of the tropes of this movie is, oh, and Chekhov gets hurt. That's kind of part of every movie. Oh, and Chekhov gets hurt.
I like the
Chekhov
fact
gets
that
hurt all the time.
they have the stripes on the sleeves.
That
Like
part
in
was
the original series.
familiar
I
enough.
really like that.
Yeah, that part would made the only thing that brought it home to being a uniform. I was like, really confused by their outfits. You know what I mean? They were too
Yeah.
radically different. I've seen takes where people rendered them in tunics from Wrath of Khan, but with the color coding from the TOS, and I'm like, that would have been an interesting one movie look.
By the way, there is a room clearly designed by Sid Mead.
I would hang out in this
It
room
looks
all
like
the time.
every painting he ever did, that room, those quarters.
I would like to have this.
Reminds
guy
me a
decorate my
little of
apartment.
Moonbase Alpha.
Yeah, I think their clothes kind of are a little Moonbase Alpha-ish too.
Definitely, because Alpha was borrowed from Star Trek,
Absolutely
inspired by.
It
Stop
all,
competing with me, Deckard.
And a wonderfully restrained moment there for William Shatner. Like third season of the show, Shatner might have gone in a different direction with that one. It's like, stop competing with me, Decker.
Well,
It's very subdued.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
even Decker's response to him is also restrained. So I like this scene a lot.
This is how rather intelligent people who have a goal on the same level, who do not like each other at all, take out their dysfunction, the stress of dealing with each other. They go after each other a little bit, but they play by the rules and they're not jerks, and they have respect for each other. They just no longer like each other. They used to be kind of friends, and that probably was a tough mountain for Will Decker to climb after Matt Decker died. I just want to say,
he's in the same position that Kirk was with his dad's death.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I just want to say, as a guy who went to Jackson Roy Kirk Memorial High School on Rigel, we had a beautiful statue of Commodore Decker in Constellation City. Yeah,
It's moments like this where I wonder if you're still on your medication right now.
Hey, hello, Tim.
Are you
to see
talking about
you.
the synthocrack?
Synthocrack. I love that.
Oh
Synthocrack.
my God.
You're only high for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're as high as you want to be, or if you need to shake it off, right? Because you can.
But what a 5 minutes, man.
I think you're only high for 5 minutes in real life off real crack. I wouldn't really know. So you don't know. I think an admiral could come take control of an aircraft carrier, but Kirk just busts him down like a little wench. He
He's
just
a
absolutely,
space cowboy.
and he's also ruthless. He wants control of his ship. But I think he's very, very, very sure that he's the only guy who's right for the job, and he's probably right.
And by the way, Bones McCoy is the Greek chorus in this film. He represents the audience. His reactions to things and how he speaks to Kirk is really the voice of the audience.
Is he a little bit of a Vietnam vet with the being drafted back in, the unwillingness, the hippie hair face?
Oh, clearly.
And hitting the small fridge of drugs for sure, right? He's like,
not to mention he's wearing the V-neck and his hair's sticking out in his chest.
I like that he manages
Bones,
to work through 3
shave
outfits
that
as
chest.
well. He has the most outfits next to Kirk and Ilea. Here's the thing about this. He's still Admiral Kirk. We'll clear it up with everybody. Captain's also a job. So when he's on the ship in control and sitting in the center seat, he's to be addressed as captain while in that role.
I said that at the beginning.
Yeah, that's what Anima said
thanks,
earlier.
Anima. I was sorry. I was busy doing a couple of things.
Because somebody pointed out that
not to mention you're on
Greece as an
medication.
admiral, that they call him captain.
Yeah, I'm on some anti-toothache stuff that might make me a little distracted.
That's fine.
Enterprise, a good show. Thank you.
And
Thank
by the
you
way,
for pointing that
twice
out.
twice already since we started streaming, you sounded like Doomcock.
I don't know what you're talking about. Ahoy, Jeff Wyatt.
Oh, it wants it in the back door.
Oh my
So
God.
scary. Please,
Oh,
not your
man.
show.
know
Night
what,
goes
though?
close for this one.
I take
For
my show
something-
wherever I go, baby.
Oh,
Something
fuck
as
yeah.
mundane as the shuttle ejecting its whatever, its life pod, whatever you want to call it. That was fairly interesting. We hadn't seen nothing like that before. That's at the 2001-ness of this movie, where they're trying to show you, like, look at like these wondrous accomplishments we've done and how, we managed to get from one place to another and all this. But this part's kind of was a letdown as a kid.
Well, the thing you got to remember, he was just at a point of his life where he was giving up on all humanity.
Mm-hmm.
He was giving up on his human half, going total Vulcan.
So
this is a result of that. That's all this is. It's a residual of his trying to reject and remove the human half.
I have a suggestion. I believe he also has a agenda of his own.
Well, clearly he does. This thing reached out and touched his mind.
Is it touching everyone like Spock or Spock?
Only
show me on Spock where it touched you.
Oh my!
No, you know what I mean. Is this thing sending out a telekinetic wave or whatever you might say?
Oh, absolutely,
a telepathic wave. So let's just say, for instance, Yoda would also feel this.
Well, Ilea should be able to read it too.
She should.
There we go. Actually. Another split diopter. I love the way they do that. Hey, it's Majel Barrett.
Majel. It sounds like the Enterprise D.
But she didn't bring him soup this time.
Hey, Michael's here. Comic Relief Crusader.
Hey,
Comic Relief.
Hey, Mikey.
Feel free to use one of those passes in the creator group, my dude.
God, I hated his hair in this.
It's distracting you.
It is. That's not Kirk's hair. It looks weird.
Dude, time has passed. He went for a change.
Stop it. His hair wouldn't change that much.
No, it would. It shouldn't.
God, that is a beautiful model.
Mm.
Look at that uniform on him. He's got that collar. That makes it look like a Star Trek uniform again.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
That's one of the things I don't like about this is how different the uniforms are.
Well, he's wearing casual dress. She's wearing typical bridge uniform or duty uniform. He's wearing casual dress. I also always liked the engineering uniform with the big rubber black collar. It looked cool.
It was the only one that survived because in Wrath of Khan they're still using it.
Yep. Good acting there, kid. He winks at him. Good acting. Yes.
What are those wristbands supposed to be?
What are what?
The wristbands.
That's their rank.
No, the white one.
This
the communicator.
Here, I think.
Oh
no, the communicators are on their wrists, aren't they, or on their belts?
Yeah, they have one on the belt,
on their
and they have a communicator on their wrist too.
I don't know if that's a communicator on their belt. I think it's a tricorder. You know what I mean? Something's going on because we see the communicators again in Wrath of Khan retested in almost the cage like to the menagerie sort of way.
No, the buckles are MP3 players.
I love how Bones is like casually, like slightly estophobic. It's like, so I heard you've been studying being Moyle, Spock. How's it going? Got that wallet that turns into a briefcase yet?
Sit down.
Please sit down.
I do like this uniform on Kirk, though.
Yeah, I'm not too fan of the short sleeves in uniform.
Yeah, same.
I don't know. It's the least distracting, except for the most formal one he wore up front.
I just don't think that short sleeves are a good look for being on duty.
Neither do I. I believe there should be a jacket with it. I believe there's a jacket we don't see that goes with this.
Did you guys read what John just wrote? That's messed up, man.
walking the dog down the block, going past the past few years, an old guy who I never known starts yelling at me, says John Swallow, our friend in the chat. Hello, John. Threatens to poison. Okay. Threatens to do bad things to dog. I tell him that I would like your name and phone number. Give it to the police who are my neighbors. Intend on reporting you. Told them to go the F away.
No, to
God.
go F a goat.
Go F a goat.
Some people are just sick.
So, John, man, not worth arguing with. Just hopefully you walk around another block from now on and just forget about that idiot. Wow, I'm so sorry. Man, can't be. Jim Cox said the other day, we need to all just like get along a little better. Look at this. We have these great movies, these great historical documents. See, look at that. There's the communicator.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
forgot
that's what I was
we
talking
had
about on his
one.
wrist. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have the oddly sewn on like Starfleet logos that are like just a little different from the old ones. And the HD, really, you can see kind of the threads and the stitching on some of them. I think one of the women on the bridge is Captain Kirk's ex-wife.
Well,
I think she
I
was
have
nice
to-
as a-
You could tell it was his ex-wife because of the way she kept shooting him a dirty look.
William Shatner manages to double dip and get paid twice or get family members into everything he does.
Well,
Well,
Keith
do
will
it for
tell
nothing.
you
He didn't
that
really benefit from a lot of the
he
financial.
really took care of his family.
Yeah.
He worked very hard. I like William Shatner. He was a
And it's
hero to me.
unfair that he got fired for it from his colleagues for not going to conventions and stuff. He was too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
well,
was the
they're
only
talking
one
shit
there
about him. He was
every day
working.
shooting. Yeah. He was the only full-time actor on the TV series. So he could support family and stuff.
Yes. Yes, they did. That is right.
No, Mr. Deckard. Oh, power.
Oh
It's been a while
my!
since I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh my!
It's like
Oh
Mr. Chekhov.
my!
Mr. Sulu, you're going to return to relevance for just a brief amount of time during the age of social media.
I like what he does here.
Yeah.
You go on doing it.
I like this half smile that he does.
And I'm joined by Gary, Martin, Anima, and Keith from Pop Culture Minefield as we enjoy Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Beautiful picture.
Yes.
Yeah. Teag,
This is
especially for
gorgeous,
this
dude.
show,
This is-
I put on my Borg title under my name. Can you see it?
I'm gonna look now.
I can't see it. It's too small. I've
One
got
of
a
One
small
of
screen.
9. Okay.
One of 9, because I'm the oldest of 9 children. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
legit. I am one of 9.
I'm 7 of 7.
That's very gorgeous.
That's just not cool, Gary.
Also referred to as the odd one out.
Wow.
I'm
you did not
Optimus
need to
Primus
say
of
that.
1
We all know.
I
of
get
Borg.
rage for both of us.
It's like all that fancy equipment doesn't work, but Spock can kind of, with the Force almost, the Vulcan mysticism that we're familiar with.
See, Kirk and Sulu are the only two there with casual dress uniforms.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of contractors are on the ship. It's like the Death Star's maiden voyage kind of thing. A
Oh.
lot of contractors, not quite.
These were all done by Doug Trumbull, by the way. These spheres, the glow with the
That
lighting.
almost looks like a normal uniform from that angle, huh? That almost looked like a TV show for a moment there.
Did I just hear
Oh.
the Kaiser yell?
Yep, the Wilhelm scream. That
And
There
by the
you
way,
go,
I don't
sir.
know, ladies and gentlemen, I did not remember this being in the movie when I saw it as a kid. This part with Ilea's weird space magic. I think this is the first time I saw it was in this cut.
Yeah, I've never seen it before.
She's kind of like got like the empath from the episode of the empath. She could take his pain away or something. She's like some kind of weird witch. She waves away like the medics, I believe.
When I
Damn it,
went
I
to
can't be
Ireland-
bothered to be on the bridge.
At age 16, I went to Ireland and I discovered there are books, Star Trek books, a lot of them. So I got into reading them, and boy, they don't like Chekhov. They get him hurt a lot.
Really?
He tends to get
So
effed up and almost dies all the time.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at 1 hour mark and 59 seconds exactly when Ilea relieves Chekhov of his pain.
Relieves some of his stress.
Well,
That
she
too,
basically
probably.
she Jedi mind tricks pain away in a way that, and they're ready to give him like, medical help staff. She's like, nope. Let's try my kooky mysticism, and it just taps me like it do. But
And Chekhov's like, what else can you do?
that was cut from the longer movie, but I think was intended to be in the show. Because as we sort of said already, this movie was kind of supposed to be a show.
And it ended up being a show when they redid some of the elements into Star Trek The Next Generation. Counter our point touches on several of these.
Agree. I agree.
Spock.
Oh God, JJ's wormhole effect. Just imagine that.
Dug trouble with his lens flares.
Oh. Hey, Penny. I'm so glad you're listening, though. That's cool. Rewind listens count. Hey, Peter Venkman fan sites. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so
Venkman
much,
girl.
everybody. Radioactives exchanging crazy hails. Chekhov screams again. Trying to think if there's a movie where Chekhov doesn't outright get hurt. Maybe 6 and 5. Or it's
A
like 1,
little
2,
girl
3,
to
and
annoy.
4.
Sort of poopas.
Yeah, whoever said the refit. They made sure to never stand between the like partially blocking that view screen. They learned their lesson. It's like, no, we're not fixing it later. It's probably true.
Yeah, because Decker's wrong in this.
Spock uses an expression of shit got real.
By the way, I just think as far as the military would go, it'd be foreseeable that after like a 5-year mission, Kirk would have to give would be like sort of they would want him to take 2 years back with the academics and other people to share what he'd learned.
Mm-hmm. He'd write a book.
And he'd
About
probably
command.
be maybe in charge of trading or maybe even in charge of Starfleet operations. He knows how to deal with those lousy Klingons and those underhanded Romulans. Hey, what's up, Cock Relief?
I think according to the novelization, Kirk was actually eventually ended up heading up the Oh man, I think it was overseeing part of design and planning for future starships, if I
Ralph
remember
McQuarrie.
correctly.
I just want to say, as bad as some of these uniform takes are, they're still better than most of the uniform takes we see on New Trek.
Oh heck yes,
Yeah,
easily.
honestly, they still look like they belong in the military. Just they're now looking like they belong in the military with a bad uniform. That's all. Nothing's changed. It doesn't nerf their sense of authority.
It really is about how you wear it.
Well, right here, Spock could be almost the same as the series, right? The color of the
Yep.
shirt's exactly the
Mhm.
same.
Bluish
And the
gray,
collar.
the
Yeah.
black collar, exactly. Now, this is intentionally meant to remind you of 2001: A Space Odyssey as Dave Bowman goes into the monolith.
And there's some common DNA with 2001 in this movie that Star Trek didn't need to have, but it didn't hurt Star Trek.
Well, you also have to remember that as far as the studio executives were concerned, there's still this difference between film and television, and that they didn't want to do with Star Trek what they had done on the TV show, even though
Hey, Snail.
the television series was kind of different.
Well, the show was more scientific than people remember.
And it was meant to actually have more than what was presented. Originally, had they funded Star Trek the way that they asked to be funded, it would have been very reminiscent of Forbidden Planet in terms of its visual look and visual effects. But because that they were basically getting by on a budget that was
Tetrarch.
way less than what they had originally asked for,
Right.
what we got was what we got.
Because the show really was inspired by Forbidden Planet.
Yep. And so was
You can
Roddenberry.
feel the Star Trekness that's all over Forbidden Planet.
Yep.
It's a more Star Trek-like story, possibly, than The Cage.
It is a film that I still have to show to Anima. She's not seen it yet.
Yeah, Anima, it's kind of a simpler time, but the special effects pretty innovative, and it was like sort of an important movie. And the thing
Which
is,
one?
because of the Forbidden Planet, because of who's in it, you'll enjoy it that much more. Because it's someone you'll have good memories of. When you see him, you'll smile. It's like one of those kind of people. No, you should not. If you have to contact the authorities or something, consider it. Try to avoid if you can, though, man. This was the best if you can. I don't know the circumstance. That's terrible, though. I'm so sorry, John.
Yeah, that's horrible what happened to
Yeah,
him.
that's, by the way, Snorty is saying what I was saying. Yeah, the new navigator who replaces Aaliyah is Shatner's wife.
Well,
And
you know,
this music is just great.
Shatner's other ex-wife is actually in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
You could probably crew an entire ship with all of his exes.
Well, actually, he was still. I shouldn't say she was his ex at the time. They were married when they did that.
She was his future ex. I got you.
I think we got to remember is that his children all really like him, so he wasn't that bad of a guy. Whatever else happened, so
his daughters love him.
yeah.
So the
let's
scene
be fair.
where Uhura and Chekhov are asking about the nuclear vessels, and they're talking to the police officer. And there's a woman that gets out of a cab and is walking, and they ask her, and she gives them directions. That's Mrs. Shatner. So,
Masters Maniac Mexico, welcome. I'm glad you're having a good time with friends.
Triple M or 3M?
We kind of get this is a better look than we got in it last time right here anyway.
Hey, Rod.
This might be
Hi,
the
Rod.
first
Thunderheart.
new thing. This might be, hey Rod Thunderheart, hello my friend. This might be the
It's
first
so
new
funny.
thing we're seeing
Anima
here.
says, "Who's Rod Thunderheart? He's friending me." I said, "Oh, he's a
Yeah.
cool dude. Friend him."
You sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I'm like, who is that? How do I know you? Why do you want to be friends with me? So, and it's usually
Thunderheart.
Gary's guys who do that. So I asked him, hey, who is that? Do I friend him?
And I told her, "Yep."
And I
So I
did.
think we're already seeing things we didn't see in the movie, right? In the
Yeah.
theater. This was we had a sequence here, but it was murkier and we couldn't tell. This is much more well defined. Hello, Rod. I'm gonna get one of those things that some of the other YouTubers have. That gives them the stadium effect. Now in this corner, and our friend the Mighty Snail. It's good to see you, buddy. When are you coming back? We're back in the Mighty Anderson's, the Mighty Johnson's business because we could do them as member uploads now. Yeah, this kid is basic. He is basically Riker. The regular station crews, jumpsuits, our medical jackets, and others died and reused security and junior grade shift crew uniforms. Believe it. Yeah. This is also much more clear than what we saw. In a way, like Lost movie Prometheus sort of has like a homage to this where they're just flying around one valley to the other. I wonder if Ridley Scott was thinking about that. Or if he's just like, I want to fly around slowly so I don't have to tell a story. That movie makes no sense still to me.
Nope.
And he's not going to be able to fix it. He can't change my mind. Hello, hello.
Oh, she always has been.
Snorty, say it, man. 5.5 out of 4, 11 out of 10. Some more stuff we couldn't quite make out in the theater. I remember what we saw looks pretty cool, but it was like, this music's pretty badass, though. Again, 6 of 9.
The sheer size of this thing's got to be blowing their minds.
It's supposed to be like they keep changing it. They said something incredible like 30 AUs, which is like 30 solar systems across. And it takes, I think, light to pass it takes light 2 years to pass from the outer edge of our solar system across the middle throughout the other side of it. So I'm thinking that's crazy. So I think that by the end of the movie, it's only supposed to be like one solar system across. Still pretty immense.
The light beam was really cool. It's actually physical that they used in this scene. It was a halogen type light that they moved around on the set, and they just threw some animation over top of it.
It's really cool, and it was very frightening in the theater as a kid.
Yep.
Here it is coming up right here. Dummy, don't touch it. I like it with the mustache tip.
Oh, classic looking tricorder.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to get hurt again.
What I hate is what happens to Aaliyah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry about
That
that.
look of
John.
anguish.
Don't let it get to you. Think about your options. That guy's a jerk. What a bad neighbor.
Right here. That expression.
Oops.
You're going to make a terrible captain.
Mhm.
Risk is part of your job, mister. Wow. There's that sound again. At least he marries pretty girls.
Mm.
Master Maniac, that is Starfleet security. For this one film, that Starfleet security wore helmets or headgear, helmet and facial armor.
They have it again, I think, in 4 when we see them breaking McCoy out of the loony place.
Do they have it in that? I don't remember.
Not all of them, not the guy who stands up and calls Sulu tiny, but we see some of them in the area. And this just looks great now.
Yeah, this is gorgeous.
It's getting
Look at
across
that.
the idea that this machine is alive a lot better.
Yeah, get off the deck, Bones.
Yeah, really, go get down to sick bay. Kirk is about to do something rash. There's 2 different kinds of Star Trek movies. The ones that are sort of hew closer to the episodes and show us things that, like, I'm doing Star Trek things, and they used to vary them up with, movies that were a little more experimental, like maybe an action movie like Khan, or something like A Voyage Home. Those were like experiments and fun. Now Star Trek is always racing to prevent the complete and total deletion of one entire faction. Or all life everywhere. That's a good one. They say that a lot in Star Trek now.
I just realized he's got captain bars on his shoulder epaulets.
They seem to have little crenellations on the top too, though. Like maybe stars above them or crenellations, like like the top one has like a Lego-ness to it. You know what I mean? Like the top of a
Mhm.
Lego. See if you can get a read on it. I look. You know, they say they didn't formalize the military stuff until Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, because that's because of Nicholas Meyer. Nicholas Meyer fought with Roddenberry over that.
Well, I think that Roddenberry was probably quick to agree that, yeah, okay, go ahead and do it, especially when he probably walked in fairly prepared with some good looking stuff. It's like, we've had the boys down in the prop department draw up what we think a Starfleet Admiral would wear, by the way. You know, as far as insignias, at least, I don't know. I know he was opposed to the actual uniforms. But I loved those Wrath of Khan uniforms. Better than
Oh,
these.
those are some of the best looking uniforms in Star Trek.
Yeah, I want to serve during that period.
I think it
What's
was
up?
easier for Nicholas Meyer to convince Roddenberry because of the naval aspect or origins of some of those uniforms.
Thank you, Radioactive. Yes, we'd appreciate it if anyone could.
Okay.
I gotta say, we go through 2 more movies with this set. This is a pretty good bridge.
I thought so too.
It's not
See, it's
overlit
2
and
bars.
annoying and lens flaring.
It's 2 bars like a captain.
Is one of them gold and white though? The top one?
No, they're both gold.
It's the way the light's playing on it. Yeah, there's some. You know what? He's wearing the captain, so he's dressed properly. I don't know. Are they serving? Oh, they're years in the service.
Well, they would call him captain
no matter
on
what.
deck because
You know
he's in
he's
command of the
Admiral.
ship.
And he's got a whole different like approach to the pants here. Now he's got Robin's egg blue pants.
And currently, Decker is was brought down to commander from captain.
Don't worry, he gets robot escort duty next.
Oh, I wanted to see the whole scene. Damn it!
All right,
She's
she passed away last year, right?
Who?
This actress.
No, she died a while back.
Yeah, she
Even
Cancer.
further back.
yeah.
She was also one of the co-stars in the movie Nighthawks with Stallone and Rutger Hauer and Billy D. Williams.
There is no such thing as a bad Rutger Hauer or Billy D. Williams or Stallone movie. So
No, I love Nighthawks. It's a great film.
on my watch list now. So you're familiar with like the several tiers of conspiracy theories about V'ger and the Borg?
Yeah, we've talked about it. I've talked about it previously that there were theories that the Borg made not only did what they did to V'ger, they also did what they did to Nomad.
And then I heard a reverse version of that where by making probes and simulacrums like this, that possibly V'ger creates the Borg. Because they say it falls through a black hole, which has implications. It could have fallen through time and gone back further than the 200 years in time it already is behind them.
Or that in creating V'ger, changed the programming of those beings, and they began to seek out biological aspects because they were a total machine, a machine world. And so that's what led to them becoming Borg, is seeking to bond with tissue.
Someone was saying that they felt it was that it kept creating simulacrum like her, and that for a while in its evolution, it needed a lot of them to take care of it. And when it reached the next stage of evolution, it dumps them, and then they start to become a spacefaring problem race because they've lost their purpose. They were created by V'ger. But that's sheer speculation. Well, I think of the... Oh, Keith, you have to ditch out of us?
Yeah, I do have to go.
Anything you want to tell us before you leave?
He's got some black guy stuff to do.
First of all, thank you for allowing me to come on and be here with everyone. And look, I love Star Trek. Always have, always will, as long as it's good Star Trek and people that run it have a respect for its history, and to some measure, its fans. So, for those that have never seen this movie before, enjoy it. Have fun. To the rest of you guys, have a good time, and I will see everyone later.
Okay.
See you tomorrow, Keith.
Bye,
See
Keith.
you tomorrow, Keith.
Bye,
Thank you
Keith.
very much. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it.
I'm glad you
Bye.
made it.
Thanks for coming by, man.
I heard a transporter effect. What was that from?
Me.
Oh, okay.
When people
He
leave
beamed
and come
Keith
on, I
out.
beam them on. Yeah, I beam
Yeah,
them
but your
on.
timing was off because he was still here.
I,
Yeah,
What's
you
your
need to
team?
get that transporter fixed, Teague, really. Because I
Yeah,
need you to
really.
I
beam
did
me
a bit-
directly into my bed after the show. Don't
if you
miss
call
my
Keith
bed when
now,
you
you'll
beam me out.
find out that I did a better job of transporting him to wherever he is than Captain Kirk did of getting those people onto the
Yeah, as long as you
Enterprise
didn't turn
over
him
there.
inside out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which, man, in
Ew.
fact, didn't live very long, fortunately. See, like it's a super replicant. It's just made it's like basically out of nowhere use something like a transporter to create a a semi-sentient robot of her.
Well, you know,
But this
Decker's
is all
Decker's
lost
look.
to the Federation.
Decker's got that look of, so she's exactly the way she was before. So wouldn't be weird, right?
He's also thinking, God, I hope they cleared her
Yeah.
browser history before they.
Except for the body cam that she's wearing on her neck.
I
Okay.
love that. It just smashes down the door.
I'm already seeing somebody.
We're at the 127 mark of this fantastic film.
And it has lingering feelings for Decker. I love that.
Because it's so exact and so precise and such a great reproduction of her schematics and what do you call it, synapse by synapse, that everything just clicks the same way. So she loves who it loved. Or it
Yeah, I
loves
read
who
about
she
that too,
loved.
Snortopupus, that she got injured doing that scene going through the door.
She seemed fine.
She cut her hand. And she continued the scene.
I was just she's a champ. Leonardo DiCaprio did that in
That's
Django.
exactly what I was thinking, just like
Yeah.
Leonardo.
I'm so amazed when people do that.
Another one that did that is Daryl Hannah when she played Pris in Blade Runner. She's got a huge
Lord of the
scar
Rings did it
from when
too.
her arm went through that window on JF Sebastian's vehicle, when she slipped.
Really?
Mhm.
Thank you, Radioactive.
So
That's a very good point. She's more like Nomad.
She's
And I'm
more
surprised
like
that that
Nomad.
episode doesn't get credit for this.
She has a
Net
touch
writer.
of Hal in her too, by the way. Yeah, they weren't paying him again. Yeah, but exactly. Yeah, Gene Roddenberry was like, "F yeah." He's like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, he kicked that helmet in Lord of the
Lord
Rings.
of the Rings, yeah. And that scream was real, and they kept it in.
Yeah, he
You
dropped
heard
to his
him
knees
say-
and yelled.
Yeah, and they just kept it in. It's so great when they do that. I think they talk with the actors, and most of them are cool because it's so real. Like, yeah, keep it. So it wasn't in vain
And then
that I hurt
I
myself.
think after that, the filming schedule called for all the running to be filmed with the broken toe too. So he's running in pain all that time.
Because he limps, if you notice when he's running, he has a limp
he
when he's
does.
running. Because I've broken my toes multiple times, and I'm telling you, man,
Ah,
it
yeah.
hurts.
This is cool. So, Snortopupus is right. Kirk could spend 5 years writing a book on negotiating with alien women and driving supercomputers mad. He does it here. He does it again here.
Yeah, his love for a woman killed her in one episode, third season. Caused her
If
to
you're Captain
self-destruct.
Kirk, if I was Captain Kirk, I think I would have snapped her neck in the hallway rather than let her get run down by a truck. Like, I'm sorry, but all mankind.
Stop, dude. That is so dark.
That truck death is terrible.
Could you imagine Kirk running up to her just doing a quick?
I would ask Spock to do it for me because he knows Vulcan martial arts and all that shit. Just be like, Spock, you don't love her the way I do. Kill her. Then take some pictures.
That's dark, dude. It's rough enough that he lets her die, but that he would murder her.
I'm just saying, like, sparing her a worse fate because I just saw a fresh cut of Kingdom
Now that
of
dude looks
Heaven.
naked. I'm sorry.
He does.
He looks totally fucking naked. It's so bizarre, the bodysuit.
I don't know what.
That's
they were
what I
thinking in
said
this
earlier.
iteration.
They look like freaking underwear, not uniforms.
Nice
Cruising
mustache.
5.
Yeah,
It's just. I'm cruising
that's one
5,
Vulcan
man.
trick that I'd like to learn. Do that to people to shut them up.
Oh, Rod Thunderheart. I
Hey,
think I said
Wade.
hello already. Real Wade here. Real Wade. Use your wrench. Put your link in the chat. Believe it is.
And they are breaching the back door all the time. Wrong show, guys.
This is just so weird. Can you imagine the conversation? Like, here's a weird, like, head slash thing. Aaliyah always told me she felt like special and sexy when she wore it. Yeah. Put it on. Why don't you? Just so strange. Snorty is correct. I love that sequence, buddy. It was my miracle man who gave me a kidney pill. She still looks very pretty. Kind of Aaliyah's movie.
Yeah, Persis is like a lot like Audrey Hepburn, just like this classic, beautiful woman.
She had a hard time having to shave her head for that.
Oh, she cried
Yeah.
when they cut her hair off. She wept.
She hated that she had to do that.
See, this is a little because why would he say aliens when he was saying earlier he sensed a single consciousness? That was just a little inconsistent.
The V'ger orifice.
V'ger's back door.
Yeah.
This is the sphincter.
Right. Okay. It's 82 AUs, and AU is the size of the orbit of the Earth. Okay, so still it was ridiculously huge, and I think they brought it down to the size of 1 or 2. Something more relatable because it was like
But,
1,000 or something.
The girl in Epsilon 9 station, she said it was 2.
Yeah,
So
she
I'm
said
saying here that in
2
the 4
AUs.
because this is the 4K version, which has the line cut to 2 AU.
Well, it is possible that V'ger expanded the diameter as it gets close to Earth.
So it's sort of like,
Parts of
the
spring.
closer they get, he begins to dilate.
Yeah, we're gonna see him dilate right here, and Leonard Nimoy's gonna have to time his thrust. Just right,
Or
baby.
I do love this scene, by the way.
I
He has
love
it
the
timed
sitting in the movie
perfectly.
theater was amazing. Well, he's Spock, of course, right? But yes, And what I loved is like it was a one-way mission. He blows all that fuel. I don't know, like how if V'ger doesn't spit him out, he doesn't make it back. Hello, Jeff Mag, you old pirate.
Again, reminiscent of Dave Bowman in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
This is all very 2001.
And
I
this
think
is
it's
very.
the
going up
time
and in
tunnel.
there.
The time
It's still
tunnel from the
good.
TV series. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, like basically he goes through that sphincter and it's a Stargate to this weird observation room where he sees everything that V'ger ever encountered has been destructively digitally uploaded. Like we got to remember this thing destroyed all these things that we see in here.
This looked like the Borg world.
I thought that was there's a high case to be made that could be considered the Borg, a Borg world. Yeah.
Because this has been discussed with a lot of Star Trek fans that this was a memory of the Borg world. Oh, I love this one.
And by one account, the memory of the planet it left behind its drones on when it evolves further. Still, you're the best. Penny.
Yeah, that is the best stash in Star Trek. Now, this was based on the painting, and they went and did this, and I love that they did this.
This is all, again, very 2001. It was a strange way to try to tell the story again just 10 years later, or 12 years later. Okay,
Another
Stan.
Stargate.
We'll see you soon. Don't take too long.
Crewman Ricky.
What the hell is photic sonar? Sound can't travel through the vacuum of space. I think the photo and photic probably means light. Like that
Photon.
makes
I'm assuming it
that
comes
makes
from
a
photon.
hell of a lot more sense than just saying sonar. Photonic sonar to me would be that they're using the light technology and simply using the word sonar to describe how they were using it in a traditional
By bouncing
manner.
it.
That doesn't offend me. Yeah. Because it would beat them there, or theoretically beat them there. The belt devices are, thank you, Destiny's Captain. It's good to see you here. Thank you for telling us. Destiny Captain says 22 minutes in the past here. Sorry. The belt devices are primarily for medical purposes. No one goes for one when someone gets hurt, though. They stand around and wait for the doctor. But okay. Thank you. I believe that's probably true.
He's in just the right spot to catch Spock.
Yeah.
What was the thing on the belt?
For medical purposes.
Oh, okay.
Some kind of med kit or something.
Medical
no
kit or a medical tricorder.
Weed
Something like
stash.
The idea of the show was supposed to, yeah, right. The idea was this was supposed to be a like a recurring show or series, and they probably would have tried to use it further down the line and gave them a little bit of cool Star Trek kit. But since they went into this movie, they're like, just deck them out like they were doing the other missions anyway. Leads to like some more believability. Because the one thing you don't believe is that they're in a pretend military, in a pretend situation. It comes across as fairly real, as fantastical as the events are. And now Spock is completely changed again. They pushed the reboot button on Spock. They hard rebooted him, and now he's got some emotion.
He's got his feelings back.
And some.
And he cries here. It's very...
He hates to feel his feelings.
Dare you make me feel my feelings.
In a few years from this movie being released, a man named J.J. Abrams would be born who would take all the wrong lessons from this crying we're about to see.
Yeah. They destroyed Spock.
The Spock that Simon Pegg gave us was damaged from the other two JJ movies, but at least Simon Pegg didn't have him have a meltdown. I don't like Star Trek Beyond, but I did notice that was like a real relief that he didn't have a meltdown and start crying.
Yeah.
Although there is this great moment when Bones says, "At least we're together when I die," and then Spock gets beamed away. And he turns.
That felt a little bit like real Star Trek too.
It did. It really felt like old Star Trek when that happened.
V'ger and Spock are on a similar journey, but Spock didn't have to delete billions of people. Did Gene Roddenberry simply fail to consider the implications of what this thing was doing?
I don't think he understood what needed to be done here for Star Trek. His Star Trek script was insane. The whole Kennedy assassination thing was just weird.
That was weird, yes. That was his second movie script. Time travel is something you should pretty much stay away from.
They've done enough, They did it, they still did it in Star Trek, the movies, when they slingshot, but no more. Just one and done. They did it in the TV show twice,
maybe 3 times. One
I
time
only remember twice. Gary Seven. They did Gary Seven and the astronaut one.
Tomorrow's yesterday.
Yeah.
Also, Naked Now. They the sun implodes and they whip around.
Oh, those are different. Those are different. Those are that's different. Because they didn't use the ship to do that one. I don't count those. I only count the ones where they had to take the ship and slingshot.
I think they slingshot by mistake. It's the only way they survive it. That's how they start to learn it, I think, is from that episode.
That looked like David Gerald just now. Radio. I'm on a Mexican. Whoa, radio.
We
Just
finally,
like Nomad.
I guess, I wasn't really looking there for a minute, but I guess we finally saw V'ger. So everybody, the journey that you started in movie theaters, 1979 ends here. Here it is. And seeing the ship firing is a lot more fulfilling than just hearing the thing go out and seeing the cloud.
They're going to de-res the planet.
It's always such a complicated plan. The V'ger probe has Bond villain disorder.
Just like Nomad.
Oh, Nomad, you irresistible little scamp.
Jesus, racist mush.
You know what? It looks like Bones has as many bars on his shoulder.
He may be a captain of medicine.
Or his years in the service?
Sure. Scotty's a captain.
No, he doesn't have gold bars.
McCoy seemed to have him on his lab coat.
Wait, isn't Scotty a commander?
See? There you are. Yeah, you can see it.
He became a
that was
captain
commander.
Yeah,
by
but
He
Star
was
Trek.
already captain.
I think it was Star Trek 5 or Star Trek 6. He's a captain of engineering.
Mm.
All they did was the merest changes to this bridge to change it for Wrath of Khan. Some lighting, and I think they moved the command chair a little further back from the helm. It's like, Kirk, have you thought this one through? And hello, I guess, everyone on Twitter, where I've never broadcast before, but you could like and
Having a
follow me if you
tantrum.
want. And wherever you are, hit those like and follow buttons first if you can. We're watching the 2022 recut, director's cut of Star Trek 1, the motion picture.
And Vija just started having a tantrum like a 3-year-old.
Right after they said it was a child. We're seeing some of the skill of the man who killed Landrew here. What's going through Kirk's mind here? A combination of like a taste of Armageddon and like Return of the Archon. It's like, I'll talk this computer to death or I'll blow it up.
Oh shit, they're going through the back door.
I was waiting for that.
I know, baby. I didn't want to let you down.
My God.
You always deliver, Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, that joke was begun in 1978 in the studio in Burbank, California, and came to fruition today. January 25th, 2024, here on our channel. We made some Star Trek history today, and here's Bones, and I think his third outfit here.
My God, he's a diva.
It's like, damn it, Jones, I was at Studio 54 when you pulled me back here.
Kirk has what, 3 uniform changes, and Bones has like
About 3.
4, 3 or 4.
Well,
'Cause he
the
came in
4
with
with the outdoor
disco
outfit.
outfit. He had the disco outfit on when he showed up. Then
Right.
he had the V
And the
split
beard.
shirt that still
That
looked
was
kind of like a
great.
disco outfit.
Yes, all of his outfits look like disco outfits, even now.
And then this one, yeah, it's 3. Well, yeah, it's the 70s.
And he's got one more yet to come when they leave the ship. He wears the outdoor.
Oh, they put the
bear
jacket on. That's right.
camping
It's reminiscent, by the
camping with
way,
other guys
of the.
from the all male bar.
It's very reminiscent of the unaired pilot that became the Menagerie.
Yeah. Because it was going to be that show's encounter at Farpoint, and then they're like, no, movie. See what he has two gold
Lassie,
bars
you
too.
take your finger out of me butthole.
All right, I have a suggestion. Now look, it's Jennifer Lawrence.
I told you.
I suggest that everybody's 2 gold bars is because they serve on the flagship.
You think that's what it is?
It's the only thing that unites them all.
Because I haven't seen what's on Chekhov's shoulder.
Yeah.
Think
He
everyone's got the
has,
2 little
and
gold
this
bars.
technician had them too. Uhura has them too.
I
Chekhov
can't
is still so
see it.
young, though. He wouldn't have earned the same stuff that the others have.
Yeah, it's either rank or it's something else, and it could very well be what you're saying is showing that they serve on a
Flagship.
specific ship.
But she doesn't have them.
Well, that's William Shatner's wife, so fuck her.
My
Decker doesn't
wife
have
needs
them.
a line. Well, hey, he did, right? So I would.
Those are participation bars.
We know you can't stop feature, but here, take these.
So, which do you think stood up better, the movie itself or William Shatner's hair?
The movie?
Let it go.
I've seen William Shatner recently. I think
He's
he wears
not
a full
going
suit.
to let it go. Do you know him, Martin?
There he is,
He
crying
I
again.
think he just unapologetically wears a toupee now, but I'd say his hair doesn't look as good as it used to, but this movie's just as good. His work will last forever. The man's a genius. And see him if he comes to your town with Wrath of Khan. It's great. It's great. I weep for V'ger as I would for a brother. It's a mass murderer, Spock. This is my problem with it.
It's one V'ger to rule them all. No, I'm saying that I'm emo now.
Emo Spock, oh god.
Well, we had it. We had that in Strange New World.
Yeah, Stranger Worlds was emo Spock.
Yeah, and that's
Spock
one thing
level
that I really
remote-
hated about the series. They just
I don't
did
even-
so many characters so wrong.
That Spock is so emo that in the episode where they make him human, aside from the fact that he has no impulse control, like with the bacon and stuff like that, if you throw that out, he actually is calmer, smarter, and more well-reasoned in the episode where he's human than he usually is as a Vulcan. When he's a Vulcan, he's like a mean, like a 10th grade mean girl.
Yeah, I had so many problems with that, the writing on the episode. I mean, it's like, so basically, you know, he was already part human. So therefore, he would still follow the logic thing, even as a human. He's still the same person. They're trying to say he's a different person. It's like, no, he's the same person.
Well, you know, with that series, that first shot of the bridge, and it's all females, I already knew where this was
Yeah.
going.
The very first episode of Stranger Worlds, they come off the turbo lift, and there's nothing but females on the bridge. It's just like,
So,
okay, I'm
the
out.
Enterprise is
Yeah.
the NCC 1701.
Yeah, and she, yeah. Oh, her, you're only saying it because you saw Aaliyah point.
God.
It's a little too convenient. Like I kind of felt like Decker and Ilea were like kind of like moths towards the flame with this whole thing. I'm like, no, if you go out there, Decker, you're not coming back. I can't think I even knew it as a kid. Like, you're a little bit in the way and want to go out there a little too much. That looks cool.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Oh, wow.
And it's showing the stones working their way out towards them. I love that.
That shot is a
It's
poster.
building
I
the
put that
land
on my
bridge.
wall.
Look at that.
That's
This is
showing you how
beautiful.
fast they're moving, too. Yeah, it is beautiful. The people who made this put so much care into it, they couldn't finish it. It took them 40 years. This is so cool. The way it just sort of grows a giant staircase.
And Keith
from,
and I
like,
got to hang out with one of the
Ireland.
effects guys, by the way. Teag.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
really nice guy.
Do tell.
He said the way they did the light was using a coat hanger. He
I
told
love
us
it
how
when
they
get
did several
creative
effects.
like that. That's amazing.
And that, of course, looks like that bridge from Ireland. Those weird-looking pillars of rock. I remember I was so pissed off because I knew about this before I saw the movie because of Starlog magazine.
I did remember thinking it looked like the giant staircase off the Led Zeppelin album everyone had.
Yeah.
And then like with the coat hanger, all I can imagine is that maybe it was on a long wooden handle and they stuck it up against like an electrified piece of like cyclone fence or something. That's a pretty insane lightning generation method. But you know what? Some of that lightning's outright animated too.
Yep. And by the way, I agree with you, Raven, except for one tiny caveat, which is V'ger is technically old technology that became alive.
Oh yeah, she's
Sentient.
old. She's very old.
V'ger's at least 200 years old, 250,
250
old.
years, yeah.
But the thing is, when it falls into
for our standards.
Yeah, I was going to say, when it
Because-
falls into the black hole, we don't know what happens. Time could have dilated. When it comes out the other
That's
side
it,
of the
Tim.
black hole,
Thank you.
it could have been 100,000 years ago. We just don't know. What if it got lost in a black hole? Was it a hole in time black hole? Was it only connecting two spaces? We just don't know.
Stop doing that.
Now, again, I
By
want
the
to point
way-
out that these jackets remind me of the jackets from the first pilot.
They
jackets
remind
they
me of
wore on the
Space
planet.
99 meets the cage. But yeah, you know what though? They're really good jackets because look what great garments and cleansers they make. I want a cloth made of this jacket because look what a great job it does on 10,000 years of the dust. Doesn't he use his
It's
jacket to clean it off?
V. Gary.
Not
we
everything
go.
is about you, Gary.
Listen, here we go. He's going to say right here, Voyager 6. 300 years ago. See, I got an issue here on this one. I'll tell you in a minute. Voyager series. This is from 300 years ago, but Khan says he's from 200 years ago. This is from before, it's only from like 4 years before Khan, or maybe a year before Khan.
Well, Kirk may be wrong in his recalling.
By the way,
You're
I think
talking
this
about
techno
Kirk here, dude.
I think this techno pit they're in here looks like it could be in any MTV video too. Just like take the band of your choice, the Stones, right? It's a
With
bunch of
Devo,
TV tracks.
The Police.
Devo.
The
Put
police,
Devo in
Devo
it.
would be especially prescient choice. Good one, Martin. And you know
Another
what? I
split
think
diopter scene.
they thought of it as one of their own. By the way, everyone's slapping their heads in the theaters even the first time. They're like, "Oh, it's the episode."
Kind of makes AI
Well,
look scary.
But here's the thing: it's become a living thing that's taken the lives of billions of living things. It's a particularly horrible monster, Beecher.
It was made by monsters. What do you want?
Emotionless machines, monsters, same thing. Yeah.
No, I mean humans.
We are top of the food chain.
Ugh.
Hey, and not Jim said how I get in the theater is Tim. Hello.
And this is also reminiscent of what would come with the whales, you know. The whales aren't there to receive the
yes.
signal. Remember that?
Yeah.
They took the same idea with V'ger and just
Well, no, the
Shifted
whales
to
did
another
not get the signal anymore. That's what it.
no, I'm telling you, that's what the idea is. It's the same
The whale-
idea.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's too much of that story, of this story and that one for
Yeah.
anyone's liking. That's the part of the story people like kind of don't like.
Because at the end, you don't even know what the hell it said.
Do you think it's important to know that?
Yeah, I think it's important to know what the damn alien was about to kill everybody for.
For fucking up and killing of whales?
No. It had another message, and I wanted to know what it was.
So
Well,
long,
it was
thanks for all the
The
fish.
measure should have been all the knowledge acquired in its voyage.
Maybe it deems humanity unfit to receive all the knowledge.
No, the thing is, this new star child that is the product of the fusion of Ilea, Decker, and V'ger, that thing has all that knowledge.
Yeah, but again, maybe it just considers humanity for not
It's a
advanced
deeply
enough to
homicidal
deal with
machine.
all that.
This machine is deeply homicidal. It cannot be allowed to continue. It must be destroyed. That's the people at the studio were actually right about that. I'm sorry. That was the truth. This thing did too much damage to not be destroyed.
You have no idea how many it's killed. It may have completely destroyed entire civilizations for all
We
we
can
know.
find out. We just have to follow it backwards. How hard can it be to track this thing? It's left the wake of absolute and complete deletion in it behind it for how many centuries? We'll figure out where it came from. It came in a straight line from this planet, Jim.
Dude, I don't think it's a good idea to go
Yeah,
to the source.
no. I don't
Do
think
not
you
go to
should
this
do that.
It's
Oh
in the
yeah, I like
galaxy.
Ray Lacard's comment. The probe said to the whales, "We've been trying to reach you about your car warranty."
Oh my god. The more I hear about that, the happier I am that in Europe that isn't the thing. Also spam calls. Gary gets them a lot, and I'm like,
Hello,
doesn't
Gap
happen
Happy
here.
Dog.
I get at least one a day.
yeah, I don't.
Perhaps not, Doctor.
Oh, it's changing colors. Is this like a mood ring?
I'm telling you, I'm ready to see Keith and Mick dancing and playing guitar. She's so cold. There's something right there.
We may be fucked, Captain.
I think my sphincter tightened.
Nobody cares about your backdoor,
I
Gary.
think it's time to leave.
She was uncomfortable in that short bathrobe. Well, I'm glad she consented to do the scene for my pleasure. She was cast because she was very, very pretty. Either
Yeah,
frequency and or
like I said,
everything
most of the actors were really unhappy about the uniforms.
Radioactive has an idea what the photonic sonar would be. Rely looking at the frequency and or amplitude modulations of a carrier frequency. Those modulations would be 20 kilohertz in range. Maybe in Star Trek, it means it's like they can send out some like tachyon like light beams that couldn't get ahead of them while they're in warp to scan ahead. Because they've always been able to sort of scan ahead when they're at warp. It's not like they've ever been said to have been blind.
I imagine it is more like a LiDAR.
It's gonna make me have virtual sex with her.
It's like, I don't. Jim, I want this. What a weirdo. What does you want at the Enterprise? I want this weird flash drive full of weird stuff with the ghost of my ex-girlfriend.
Not even the ghost.
What is going on with the brain of someone like an Akiva Goldsman or one of those people watching this too, taking away all the wrong lessons, and they're like, oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They get everything wrong.
Yeah, it's like we don't have to have the characters just do anything. They can come in out of nowhere magically. We can say they're great and just like make them go away. Like there's precedent for that. No one can get mad. It's like this was a movie that was supposed to be a TV show. They had to shortcut to the end. There's some problems.
Now they're doing the
yes, we said that.
What is that movie?
And hello, Dev Mag. Which one?
Oh, this is how they did the spinning was done with the coat hanger.
I believe that. Yeah, all right. That makes sense.
He explained to us how they did it. It was really cool. But no, that Olivia Newton-John musical from the 80s.
Xanadu.
Xanadu. Yeah, this is the Xanadu scene. Xanadu. Oh, too bad she's bald. Her hair can't flow upward.
Well, he's praying for both of them. So
both. Yeah,
he is.
Martin, yeah.
Spock is like, he's actually very pretty.
You know what actually really happens to him is that he goes into the Nexus and his Echo marries a ancestor of the cetacean from Star Trek: The Voyage Home, and they have kids and they call it Seventh Heaven. It's a Star Trek spin-off show.
Yep.
Decker woke up in his spot to find out he's plugged into the Matrix.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. He wanted to be in command of a starship, and he's like, no, I want to merge with a weird alien. It's like, all right, you know what? We don't need you. I think if we had gone through it over the course of time,
look at that.
This looks so cool.
Yeah. Wow. By the way, how do you reckon with Nomad would have been something they could have mentioned? It's like, well, what could we? Well, I mean, with V'ger, what could we have done?
Now, imagine being on Earth looking at that in the sky. You just say, "Oh my God, we're dead!"
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the all the costumes in this are pretty mid to terrible. There are bathrooms in the Enterprise.
Yeah, it's supposed to be an interesting one on the bridge.
It's it's just off screen by the
to the left where Chekhov is, right in front of where Chekhov is.
I think that's where Kirk would exit to walk to the conference room.
It's the same spot that Picard's ready room would be.
Right.
They only ever really show it on Enterprise where they lose gravity and Scott Bakula is in the shower and all of a sudden he's floating and all the water's floating. And he's on the telecom asking when it's coming back. And it's like anytime now and then, bam, he goes down on the floor. I think that's the only time they really show bathrooms on track.
They had time to
That
call
scene
back
was
to their
fun.
own past. They had time to call back to their own past and mention Dr. Jackson Roykirk, but maybe they didn't want to remind people too much, right?
Yeah. Now I want to point out that this scene between McCoy and Spock there was the closest to the TV show they had done in the entire film.
I always imagine like someone at home, like if they've been declared dead, you'd get a lot of money, but since they're missing, you don't get anything.
Right.
Like,
Kirk
like,
trying to be poetic, robbed a family of their money.
it's like put them down. Just like my joke with Wrath of Khan, with Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan is like, how else am I supposed to keep my reputation as a miracle worker? So like when Spock goes in there to fix the warp drive, he doesn't have to actually do it because Scotty gave him a bad estimate, and he just doesn't see Spock go in. So he's like, no. That's why he's like, Spock, no. That's why he's so upset when Spock jumps in there. And Kirk's like, seems like addition through subtraction means that I am now in charge of this here ship, and maybe I'll just stay here for a while. And for those who don't know, what do we fast forward 12 more years for the next movie, right? Roughly.
Oh, wait, I'd never seen it. The nacelle light up before.
That was
The
pretty
nacelle
cool.
actually lit up there.
Let's see.
Right before it goes into warp, the nacelle lights up.
It's a little hard to. Let's see if I can do it.
Special science
Yeah, here we
consultant
go.
Isaac Asimov. See, the nacelle's never lit up, but this time there's an animation that makes it light up. And I've never seen that before.
New. That's new.
It's a real improvement. I mean, again, another.
Yeah, because I always thought the nacelle should be lit up. Right here. Ready?
Yeah, yeah. It's what it's supposed to look like instead of what they were able to do. I approve of changes like that, but I mean, we have an original movie too. It's not going anywhere. Man, is there a better Jerry Goldsmith score? All right, hey, next time on Star Trek The Next Generation. Every time I hear the music.
Oh, and John Dykstra worked on it. Richard Urich, he's God, he was a great what do you call it? Mad artist too.
That was probably for the Vulcan part.
Well, they ended up changing all that digitally later. They fixed the Vulcan to make it look right. I love Isaac Asimov being involved. Keep the science real.
Although Roddenberry robots and Osmovian robots behave much differently. Roddenberry's robots tend to get like real jealous and want to have human form or get rid of all the humans. They've got some opinions about being our servants.
See,
and
Matt
stuff.
Urich right there. Matt paintings. I'm looking for, because I know he's involved with the film with the lighting effects, but I haven't seen his name yet. Or did I miss it?
Whose name?
Doug Trumbull.
Photographics
Yes,
is
you missed
here,
it.
so-
It was at
Did
the
I miss it?
beginning.
Damn it. Okay, that's all right. Doug Trumbull was brought in specifically for the lighting effects because nobody knew how to do realistic lighting like he did with visual effects. I mean, look what he did with Blade Runner. I mean, my God.
Yeah, Blade Runner was incredible.
Apogee, that's who it was. Apogee was the other one involved with this. Good old John Dykstra. He didn't want to be part of ILM. There it is, production illustration by Sid Mead. Love that guy. Miss him. He was a good dude.
Miniatures, David Beasley. I guess he made their miniatures, like their weapons and stuff, and their communicators. because there was a couple of appellations on what kind of miniatures he made.
Certain models manufactured with Magicam.
So after they make this movie, the studio is like relieved. I guess it probably took a while for it to make its money back. It just must have sat in theaters accumulating cash because it was
in the
enough
theater for a
people wanted
while.
to see it. Yeah, people wanted to see this. I remember seeing this movie. I also remember being a little confused by the movie and thinking it was weird. And I was really surprised when Wrath of Khan came out. I didn't think there'd be another Star Trek movie after this one. I thought this was like more than we ever had the right to expect. I was surprised. Hello, Raven McLeod.
We have other people watching the live show. I'll go through the names if you want to. See, we
Help me
got Almighty Broccoli,
That's a
Dew
great name.
Squirrel, Reverend
What?
Burn Fried Axe Wielder,
That's a great
Mr.
name. I
House
love
Party
Burnford.
6, Anonymous
Chinatsky.
Kangaroo. Let's see.
Chinatsky's out there. Gap After Dark.
Sci-Fi
John
Mombi is watching over on the movie. Anonymous Rooster.
John
I'm trying to
Spola.
tell you, Teague, who's all over there. Anonymous Cat, the CRC, Wes Kegel, as compared to doing your Kegel exercises, Wes Kegel exercises. Admiral Teag is also over there. Apparently, you're in both places.
He's all
let's
over the
see.
place.
Come on, hold on.
Depends where I
Tony
post the
Stark
comment.
is watching.
Hey, Stark of Iron.
Disney Sheepherder, the Padawannabe.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Padawannabe.
And let's see. Scrolling through them all. Anonymous Rhino is watching over on the movie. A lot of memes, animated memes were put over there. I don't know who all these people are. It was good seeing them. Let's see. Come on, scrolling. Buddy H is watching. Anonymous Monkey. Jim's Landscape LLC. Commodore Prod. Mark Harkness.
Hello.
Resolute Germ.
Hey, Jerem, what's going on, buddy?
That's a name.
You have great names, guys.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling. Anonymous Owl. There's nothing worse than an anonymous owl, I'm telling you. Anonymous Hamster.
A lot of anonymous
A
people.
lot of anonymous cat.
Cats are never anonymous.
Let's see. Anonymous Turtle. Let's see. Anonymous Hedgehog. Let's see. Lady V was watching watching the movie. Let's see.
Thank you.
I'm sure she made some jokes about my butt.
Oh, she did.
And that's Anonymous Dolphin was the last one. So good crowd
Hey.
over there watching the movie.
All over
Anonymous
there in the
too.
theater. Yeah, the Cosby's a lot of fun. I'm so glad everyone decided to hang out and watch this great movie with me. I love this Star Trek movie. From the first time I saw it as a little kid to this day. I mean, Spock's whole journey there, that's pretty amazing. The whole story that we get with V'ger when we finally find out where it's come from, and it's just this insane thing from space. It's just
Yeah.
it's a worst case scenario. Like what we sent something out there and it came back to us and it was like not just dangerous, but deeply malevolent. Like it was going to destroy the earth. It's the same basic plot as Star Trek 5, but
The Voyage Home.
I'm sorry, Star Trek 4, Voyage Home, but this movie is just we spend most of the movie inside the cloud that is V'ger, and we don't get a lot of clarity on him. I'm trying to find the moment he changes so I can share it with the audience. So they can
Who changes?
share.
Spock?
V'ger changes from a cloud to a ship. Trying to find the actual moment that happens because
Well, you know, and it makes you ask the
blows
question:
past the moon.
is V'ger? I say he is. It is V'ger corporeal? until it wants to be solid?
I think it's the cloud is like a protective field or part of its defense
The cloud is a
system.
protected field. Remember that somebody says that I think it's Spock. I think there is a ship in the heart of the cloud.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't care. I love this movie. I really do. I think that we wouldn't have
Okay.
got the other films if not for this movie.
This movie does extremely well at the box office, and I think I can do this. Let me see if I can share this. I can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting since whatever year, 1979 or whatever year you first saw it. This, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact V'ger. That's the V'ger ship.
The chunky boy.
That's the V'ger ship, ladies and gentlemen. That's it right here. We bought it to you first.
A lot of junk in the trunk, man.
The V'ger ship certainly comes with a lot of what you would have to call baggage. But that's it. That's the V'ger ship. And when you see the cloud peel away and you're actually able to see the V'ger ship, it gives you some context on the movie and the scope of events that you don't get any other way. When did you first see the new cut? Or anyone want to talk about when they first saw this movie? I went first. I saw it as a kid in theaters and I loved it, but I was definitely confused by it, and I didn't think there would be another. You're next guy.
Oh, me? I saw it in DC when it opened. I didn't get to go to the premiere. That was an invite-only event, but we got to see it in DC.
So that must have been. What did people think there?
Oh, we walked out in awe. I was in awe of this movie. I still
It
had
was
misgivings about them not becoming who they were until the end of the movie. I just wanted to see them be more of the characters. They were held back by the director on this.
Captain Kirk is a man obsessed, and he's trying to get back his ship at all costs. And he's being a bit of a dick. He pulls rank right on Decker. He's like, I'm not even going to be executive. I'm not even going to stand around here as admiral and let you sit in the center chair. It's like, I'm just like, the way he looks at him in the eyes, like, take a center chair, Will. So he doesn't equivocate once he's made a decision. Captain Kirk's just like on a mission to be. I think Decker's right in most of his observations. I don't think that he would have come out with a better solution than Kirk, though. I just think the things he says to Kirk are accurate.
By the way, another film, but I just remembered another film that Doug Trumbull was there for was Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He was again there for the light effects. Industrial Light and Magic did all the other effects, but he did the light effects for that movie. Getting that lens flare to make it look more realistic.
Lens flare, when used in proper proportions, was not a terrible
Oh, wait,
thing.
nobody did it like Doug Trumbull. J.J. Abrams is fuck up as far as anybody's concerned. His lens flares are obtrusive. Whereas, Doug kept them constrained to the light itself and just around it, and not getting into your face and blocking what you're supposed to be looking at.
Hi, Peter Benkin Pansite. I'm sorry I'm so far behind the chat. We'll jump ahead and see to the end for a second and see who's still around. And hello, James Caserta. It's good to see you. Masters Maniac Mexico. Hey, they can't keep you unsubbed. YouTube unsubbed this person from me. It happened. Doomcock is right. Hey, Tetrarch. Good to see you.
It does happen. Dude. I'm trying to find the name of the theater. I cannot remember the name of the theater there in DC. It was like the MacArthur or something like that. We went to see Star Trek at. And it was like the weekend before it was the premiere with the movie stars. And what a weird place to do the premiere at. Instead of Los Angeles, Hollywood, they they did the premiere in DC, which we were excited about. It's like, that's our stomping ground. That's our home. But I always thought it was really strange that they chose to do that.
That and that they couldn't get the movie quite finished on time. If this movie's release date was like New Year's Day, they would have had such a better movie.
It was
They were
December
coming so
9th, I think,
close.
was the premiere date. I can't remember
Something
exactly.
like that.
It
For a
was December
long
9th,
time, the Star Trek
1979.
for a long time, the Star Trek movies opened like after when the Bond movies had opened, but before Christmas-ish.
Depending, Wes Cagle, on what you're talking about, because a movie is rated on multiple things. I think that when you do the math, I think it would get a higher grade from me because the acting, it gets an A. The writing to the story gets a B. The
concept is an
direction,
A plus. It's an A plus concept, but we've
C.
used it twice. We've used it. You know what I mean? It's
gets
A
a
plus,
C.
but we've used
Visual effects get an A. So you take all those letter grades and do the math, and I think it would end up being a B minus for me.
Yeah, that's what I think. B minus, which is still
I
good.
love Spock's story in this movie, and I think it's a fun movie.
It's
I was
the best
glad
part.
that it happened. Yeah,
I think
is.
Kirk's story makes him look like a jackass. He looks like a jackass in the story. He's obsessed with getting his command back.
And then the guy in his way is like, "No, I'll self-sacrifice. I'm in the way of better Star Trek. Let me get out of here."
Little did Kirk know that later there would be evidence that showed that he killed him.
Yeah, right.
He left evidence that Kirk killed him so he could get his command. It's sort of like that story from Star Trek where the guy faked his death.
Ben Finney.
Yeah, Ben Finney faked his death to frame Kirk. That's how they should have ended this, with Kirk being arrested.
You're really underwhelmed. You know what? You don't have.
I'm not going to argue. It is dull. It's not an exciting story,
really
but
slow. Yeah.
At its heart, it's still Star Trek, man. It's about exploration. And it took two stories, Changeling and the other one. I forget the name.
Doomsday Machine.
Doomsday Machine. I think they should
have more honest, and decent Star Trek story than we'll get from the people today. They had a lot of problems.
Hello.
The studio was right when they said stuff like they needed to have a bad guy to kill, that the V'ger was unredeemable, and that they had to give him some kind of satisfaction. Hello, Hallian Place. Yes, it did look like a Giant's Causeway. By the time we get to this movie, V'ger's to become too much of a villain to let him go.
Well, that's the problem. See, you have to remember that it doesn't recognize humans or humanoid creatures as living.
Organic life.
Organic life is
explores,
not life to it.
Hello,
life
Read by Nature.
I love Read by Nature's Avatar, man. I love that Avatar, dude. It's so cool. It's clearly, I think that's Hellboy from Hellboy.
No, he
is that not?
He told us the other day.
Oh, I didn't catch it. What was it from?
I can't remember, but
you're useless. Shut up, Martin.
How dare you?
And once again, we get proof that Gary has no heart.
I have no heart. I have a heart. I have Martin's heart right here. No.
You monster.
Is what? Dork is watching Star Trek 2 right now? Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
We all know who it is. It's okay, Teague.
Oh, okay. Whatever. Well, you won't get better coverage than you will here. But hey, I guess everybody, thanks a lot for being here. Is there anything you want to tell the people before I tackle some of these comments? And I'll give everybody a chance to split or hang out as you. I'm talking to my whole panel. I'll give everybody a chance to kind of dip out now, and I'll take on the comments. Like, movie's over. You don't have to hang around. If you want to pitch and dip, go for it. Or if not, I'm going to look at some of these comments. and hang out with people for a little while longer.
Well, I did notice that YouTube has rotated up our interview with Sandy Calora. He's the guy who made Batman Dead End, one of the best fan films ever made about Batman and the Predator and Alien.
Are people
And-
free to make fan films about Batman now because of how old it is? It's up there.
It's getting close. I know that.
10
But,
years.
Is it 10 years from now? It's got to be 78 years old.
The Comic Relief Crusader has a video about it. And he
You're
says
right
it's
about
10
this,
years.
Yeah, but nobody watches Comic Relief Crusader.
Oh,
We love you, Mike. I'm kidding.
Yeah, there's Reverend McLeod's right. There's so much to consider with V'ger. It was made by man and evolved into a new life form and came back as that life form. And
No,
we
that's a
couldn't
great
recognize
question.
it.
That's a great
Yeah.
question. Is it still the car? No, it's not. It's something new.
It's not. V'ger was not the probe anymore. It was
wasn't
like the
Voyager
same
anymore.
thing it was just like Nomad. And both stories are based on like a real guy, like Dyson, the guy who thought of the Dyson sphere, not the vacuum cleaner guy, but like maybe the guy. They're good vacuum cleaners. I got one, but what do you call it? The Dyson sphere was the idea that at the edge of the habitable zone, you build like a sphere around your sun, and that you keep all the energy, so you never have to look for any energy, and all the entire surface of the inside of your Dyson sphere would be habitable and like perfect because it'd be a Goldilocks zone level, and so you'd have plentiful food, blah blah blah, and no one would know you were here because your star would be black. So
Hey.
he invented probes too. Yes.
Tim, FKHC 2005. That's the theater. He said it. It's
Take a look.
KB MacArthur Theater in DC. That's where I saw Star Trek. Now Tim lives in the same area I lived in, so he knows the theater. Now I'm talking about. Thank you for putting that in there, dude. I knew it was something MacArthur. I just couldn't remember the full name. Thank you.
Tim knows his stuff, man.
Well,
Yeah,
especially when it
that's
deals with that, because he lives in the same area where I grew up.
that's the one. A DC villain. The Architect. That's what the avatar for Reed is.
KB MacArthur Theater. All
Yeah,
right, we
that's
had
the
somebody
theater where
new.
I saw Star Trek, the motion picture. And then a few weeks later, it opened in Fredericksburg at the RC Theater, and we saw it there. So I saw. Oh my God, how many times did I go see that? I think 12 times. I went to see it in the
Oh.
theater.
More than
Here's
7.
something really sad about me, you guys. I never saw any of the Star Trek movies in a theater. Only at home on a
Wow.
computer screen. Yes, I know. I need to hand over my nerd card right now.
Well,
No, you
Wrath of Khan was sort of the greatest afternoon at the movie theaters of my entire life. That was maybe the greatest afternoon at the movies of my life. That movie was great.
Oh, James Caserta has a good comment. V'ger turned into Q?
Oh my god, that's a
It is-
scary thought. That is
It
a
is
scary
supposed to be.
thought.
Hello, Shanatsky out there, and Peter Venkman fan club. They do say it's turning into a new life form. It's turning into something like that has its own
It's
consciousness.
the Star Child, all again from
Yeah.
2000 Space Odyssey.
It is. It is. We see a lot of 2001 like stuff. It's this movie has a lot aesthetically in common with 2001. It's a good movie. It's a good Star Trek movie. It's a good Star Trek movie story, but its pacing is really weird. Some of our heroes are out of character. Like there's a good performance from William Shatner, but it was like a ruthless day at the office for Captain Kirk, huh?
For sure.
He's just yeah.
By the way, I wanted to point out we did surpass. We've passed 10,000 on our channel. this
Yes.
week.
We're going to
Congratulations.
celebrate
Yeah, I
that
saw
tomorrow.
that.
Do not
All
miss
right.
TGIF. It's the celebration of 5 years Pop Culture Minefield and
Yeah,
passing
on
3K.
Saturday is our actual anniversary, but we're going to celebrate it tomorrow
Because TGIF is the party that never ends.
for 2 hours.
Yep. I was just testing you if you finally memorized the slogan.
I always find it funny to say that. It's like, it's the
I know.
party that never ends for 2 hours. Because it will end in 2 hours.
Well, no, usually you go over by half an hour, but it does end.
Yeah, depending. If there's a good conversation going, we do. Like when Tom comes on, we almost always go over by a half hour because Tom and I start getting into the details and the minutia about things. It's sort of like when we're talking about Star Trek, Keith and I will go over talking about Star Trek. Because as big, I am a huge Star Wars fan. But before Star Wars came out, I was a Star Trek fan. And I will always be a Star Trek fan, die hard. But I was asked one time, Teague, in an interview, and it almost appeared in the book, but at the last minute, the author decided to edit it out, what I said, because I had gotten in some hot water with some Star Trek fans because I was at a Star Trek convention, and the guy asked me if I'm a Trekker, and I said, no, I'm a Trekkie. And another guy next to him says, what's the difference? I said, a Trekker is a person whose life revolves around Star Trek. Everything in their life is Star Trek. It's like they're the people that walk around in Starfleet uniforms all the time. They're members of Starfleet International. They've got their own ship or a crew member of a ship. Their remote control is a Star Trek device. You know, they do the memorabilia all over their house is all Star Trek. That is
fair, though. It got someone out of the Whitewater jury.
What?
To be fair, though, it did get someone out of the Whitewater jury.
Oh yeah, because they do come off as crazy, and so and the difference is, a Trekkie is a person who has a life but really loves Star Trek.
That's a life. Oh my God.
Well put.
And then, and that
Go
pissed some people off when I said it because I said this in front of nerds, and I'm like, don't be pissed off about it. Don't be afraid or embarrassed of what you are. You don't have a life. You're a nerd. It's okay. Not everybody wants a life.
That's what I always say. Like, you gotta be. Not everyone wants to be in it, but hey, you know what? Let's check this out for a moment. This is something that's been floating around the internet. I don't know if you know anything about this guy.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity. But his identity isn't the only secret he has to keep. After grievous wounds received during combat, Tier 1 operator John Russell begins to recover and comes to terms with his new reality of being an amputee. And as he learns how to use his new prosthetic limb, he finds himself caught up in the bureaucratic red tape.
That's Julia and Dale die on the wall in that picture.
The exhausting Medford process. Out of sheer frustration, John takes it out on the criminal scum of the city. But when reality kicks in, John realizes he started something that's having an impact on the greater world around him, and thus has to reevaluate his motives, and moreover, how far he is willing to go to weed out crime and corruption. From the creator of IDW's award-winning graphic novel Code Word Geronimo comes a new story about a different kind of warrior. Vindicated Inc., the first of its kind disabled veteran action hero comic. The Vindicated Inc. graphic novel crowdfunding campaign on fundmycomic.com is provided in the description of this video. We hope you become a contributor. Please share this link.
Thanks for showing that,
The
dude.
link not cut up, but we can drop that in the chat. Yes.
And
Usually
I did not get it wrong. That is what it is. A Trekker is a person who is focused on Star Trek. They're Trekkers. And then Trekkies are the more light-hearted members of the Trek fan base.
The posers, so to speak.
Fuck you.
I'm
sorry. Did I say it out loud? I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, Gary. I dropped like at least 3 F-bombs on the stream, so apologies. We just don't have a filter.
We curse around here.
Okay.
We do. a while ago.
You
Oh,
could have let us known that. Like, I've been worried
This-
about my language all the time.
And everybody, if you like what you hear, please like and follow this channel. I want to thank all my pals for coming by. But first of all, let's see. I give you 60 more of your seconds, your Earth seconds, to complete the poll, which has 43 votes. So what grade do you give Star Trek the Motion Picture? A is leading with more than half. So I guess I mean I understand why if you were Studio Money Man you would be freaked out. It's like Gene Roddenberry needed 4 movies worth of money, and it was a long shot that he would make 10 movies worth of money back. He just happened to do so, and so he doesn't get to be part of further movies in that sense. But I don't know. I don't feel like Wrath of Khan was a mistake. I like we were fortunate. Like there's always been. I feel bad for Gene Roddenberry's ego, but would I change anything about how we got Wrath of Khan?
No,
this
I would.
movie's yeah, and this movie's fine. I liked this adventure. It wasn't the most original, and it wasn't. I guess they didn't go into it to make a movie. Is the thing you have to remember. I guess some really smart ideas in there, but not everything was genius. Yeah, compared to all this stuff, the stuff that we've gotten now from the Kurtzman and Kelvin era, I think we could count ourselves lucky to have had a movie like Star Trek the Motion Picture. I've asked a lot of different panelists this. I'll ask you guys. If I was to open up like a dinner theater and it was like in the mold of medieval times, you ever been to that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you would have like Star Trek times, right? And when you went in, it would be like wherever you went in, there'd be like a Klingon entrance, a Vulcan entrance, like a Romulan entrance, then maybe a human entrance for people who are like not into Star Trek or whatever. But you could go in there and like when you go in the Klingon section, like everyone would be dressed as Klingons, and they give it like Klingon themed booze and Klingon themed food. And you would go in there and watch, say, an episode like, I don't know, Balance of Terror, or Where No Man Has Gone Before, or anything from classic Star Trek, and you'd have like a full orchestra playing the score, and just have like actors acted out in the central stage, and then for the combat parts, just have like professional grappling guys go out there and fight it out. I think people would pay good money.
Again, Snorter Poopus, the Trekkies, the reason it's called a Trekkie instead of a Trekker denotes the serious aspect of it. The Trekkie refers or denotes the lightheartedness of it. So I'm just letting you guys know you're incorrect. It's Trekker is the serious Star Trek fans, and Trekkies are like me.
I think I'm both. I'm obsessive. I'm obsessive enough to be both. Depends on the show.
I am not. But
hello, Helen Pelade. A place.
It's okay to be weird, Teag. It's okay.
Yeah. I am weird. Hello, Andy Morrow.
Andy's here. What's up, buddy? Cheers, Mike. Cheers. So anyway, he's a limey. He can't help it.
Jesus Shinatsky, let it go.
Thanks for the call this morning. Oh, the butt dial.
Yeah.
Martine butt dialed everybody this morning. It was funny. We all like, hey man, is everything okay?
In the big management group on Facebook, so it's like 20 people in there.
Even Don Ecker responded.
Yeah, he said, I hate when I do.
What the hell are you waking me up for, you sons of bitches?
If only he should have said that. Oh man.
That's what he was thinking. That's what he was thinking.
I miss hearing him say that. And by the way, Penny said it earlier. She misses UFO Wednesday. Everybody does.
I just, I don't know, man. Monday nights, if you go to Facebook or Rumble, you can watch Don and me do Dark Matters Radio. He says it. I am the co-host with him on that show, and I'm very proud of it.
All right. So, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and we just had a really good show this week. We had Chris DePerno on, and of course my buddy Don's and my buddy Mark Center was there. We had a great show.
It was great.
So we're not far apart in age, Penny, because I was I was 4 in the 3rd season. And I remember watching the 3rd season. That's what I just corrected. That was one I just corrected. No, it's Trekkie is whimsical. It's why it's an E at the end instead of Trekker is the hardcore Trek fan. Trekkers and Trekkies. And the one guy, like I said, there's one guy that took umbrage with me when I said it, saying that they don't have a life. And I'm like, it is what it is. It's okay not to have a life. It's okay.
It's okay. For a little while, at least.
And then I got asked in the Blade Runner book, The Making of Blade Runner. He says, what's the difference between your regular sci-fi fans and Blade Runner fans? I said, well, when you go to a con, you'll see all those other ones, but because they're walking around in cosplay, they're wearing uniforms and stuff like that. I said, Blade Runner fans are the guys who just came from work and they're just wearing their work clothes.
Okay, we have a question in chat from James Caserta. He asks, can I be on your show?
Sure.
PCM, can I be on your show? Oh, he's talking to me. So, James, what do you want to talk about? It's important to know. Also, are you crazy? It's important to get those things out of the way.
But it works.
You need to be tested before coming on.
Yes, we got to do a Voight comp test on you to make sure you're human and not a replicant.
What's the point of asking that? This is like in the migration form. Are you a criminal? Oh yeah.
It's. Oh, you want to talk about Star Trek? Yeah, man. We need to do it when Teag's available because I like to keep all my Star Trek things in one place and not scatter them around.
Yeah, I mean, we let Teag on our panel. We can as well have you.
Yep. But no, there's nothing worse, man, to go on a date with somebody and you're like halfway through the date and you go, oh shit, you're not passionate, you're insane. I've had that happen and I'm like, oh my fucking God, this woman is crazy. And it's terrifying. You don't know what to do. Like, it's sort of like that moment where, what comedian was that? I don't know what to do with my, Will Ferrell. I don't know what to do with my hands. What do I do? I'm with a crazy person. I don't know what to do. Application process with the psych eval. Voight comp test required when her question cross-referenced. That's right. Somebody knows their Blade Runner. There you go, buddy. You come across a tortoise. What's a tortoise? You know what a turtle is? Yeah, same thing. I love that the Voight Kampf questions in the movie are from the book.
They are from the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why they're a little confusing to us, because something like, you're at a party, a person gives you a calfskin wallet. I refuse. And it's just like, huh? What's going on in this world? Yeah. Plus, I would call the police. Your son shows you his insect collection, including a killing jar. I take him to the doctor. It's like, whoa. But that's one thing in 2049.
Page nude of a woman. Are you testing whether I'm a lesbian or a replicant, Mr. Deckard?
That Voight calf machine of yours, have you ever tried it on yourself?
Now, you know something? This reminds me. When I was younger, one of the big things we would do on campus, when they would, when I was a fake student at William and Mary, they would have showings at the basketball auditorium, where they played all the big game events, volleyball, all of it. And they would drop down this big screen and you would sit on one side of the bleachers inside this stadium. And we would play our favorite movies and they would split into groups if it was a classic like Star Wars. And each area would recite all the lines of specific characters in the movie. That was their job. And it was fun. It was something fun to do. This one group would do all Darth Vader's, Han Solo's lines over here, Luke, Obi-Wan. Nobody was
fun.
R2-D2 though.
Back before people didn't have to get like mentally and physically broken by watching Star Wars on television.
Yeah. It was just one of those fun things we used to do back in the 80s.
When we were allowed to have fun for a little while, briefly. Something went wrong when we slipped through like several years worth of very enjoyable movies in the late 80s to mid 90s. Something went wrong in the low quality control over in Hollywood. They slipped up and they gave us a bunch of good movies in a row. And what are you gonna do? We'll take them, but certainly those 80s years were really fruitful. And I guess thanks a lot for being at my movie watch, guys. Is there anything you guys want to promote or talk about before we split out of here?
Well, I will say this. There is photos out there. I don't know where they are of me. I was still in the Army, so I didn't have long hair. It was high and tight, but I was allowed to in between because I was reserves. So I would let my beard grow out, and I went to a convention dressed in my Starfleet uniform as Commander Riker.
That's cool.
And it's the only time I ever cosplayed. And it was back in the 90s, early 90s. And it was fun. I actually went, I had the one that chirped when you hit it. It had the magnetic, and it was gold plated. Start.
Oh yeah,
and
the
you
combat.
hit it, and it would make the chirping sound. I loved it. I loved that thing.
I have the old school communicator, and it ties into your cell phone. So if your cell phone rings, you're instead of it ringing on your phone, your communicator will ring in classic style. And when you flip it over, it'll make the classic noise, and you can talk to people. But it's like a speakerphone; you're stuck on speaker. But I guess it's like the kind of thing your boss has, and your desk's like, "So we need to talk," and he's got like the communicator behind him, like on the stand. It's like decision was made. But
I've always done that sort of purpose. I've always done that, even before Star Trek. I'm tall, and I many a time would go over the top of the back of a chair.
Oh, because of the Riker thing, right?
But it wasn't Riker. I was actually doing that, and then, but yes, to answer that question, yes, I've mounted chairs that way. I've even mounted women that way.
Riker, he's got like a wonky leg because he was like didn't make money all that quick in Hollywood, and like he broke his leg or something working as a mover or something.
I don't know. All I know is I made a joke, and I don't know if anybody heard it. I said that's how I mount chairs, and it's also how I mounted a few women.
I did miss that. I'm sorry. I was looking through the comments.
Gary likes to mount things behind.
Oh my god.
You guys are between my jokes and then your jokes back at my jokes. Anima's terrified.
No, I'm not.
Oh man, but no, we've got our show Saturday. Tom and Gary, we're going to be doing King Kong, the 1933 version, and tomorrow's going to be our celebration for our 5th anniversary for the show. Keith and I started doing this 5 years ago, January 27th of 2019.
Wow.
And I started trying to do it earlier, and it was called Dangerous Nerds. It's just called Dangerous Nerds. But I just didn't want to go alone. I like hanging out with other people, and sitting here talking without other people to bounce off of it's no fun to me. It's like just me blathering on by myself is weird. I like sitting in a group. And then, of course, tomorrow morning I'll be gaming. I will do some Call of Duty. Once I figure out how to do the Rogue City RoboCop game, I'll probably stream that a few times, just to see if I can finish it or get my ass kicked. Because I don't know how hard that game is. I really don't. Do you know, Martin?
The votes are still coming in on the movie. Too.
Medium is medium. The thing is, you're RoboCop, so you are not agile at all. But
who's Jew? Who's Jew? Jewar?
Okay.
Okay. It's the I haven't gone back to the channel to see where you at.
If James is sort of talking about New Trek, I gotta agree with you. I can't pin down where they are or what's happening. It seems internal to every episode. Absolutely, just changes. They're most convenient writers in the history of convenient writing.
Which one were you reading again? I want to read it. Teague.
Looking. We go. Remove Trek from any timeline canon altogether. I think about New Trek, that's really true because they're such writers of convenience. They'll overwrite their own story in another story and act as though that was always the case. For instance, in Strange New Worlds, Una is from Delta Vega, where they're all Illyrians and they're not allowed to join the Federation because they have augmentations, like the people that Noonien Soong charges up and gets the revolution out of an Enterprise, and like Khan's people, like you're specifically not supposed to make them. So she like punches down a door and carries a grown-ass dude and some other stuff like that. And the show's just happy to show her as being that strong. And then in the next season, she's on trial for lying about being from that planet, which would make her like an infiltrator to the Federation. You know what I mean? Like she broke their one rule for the planet. So Pike agrees to look the other way for her because she's such a strong woman. So he can't be bothered to stand up for what he swore an oath to. This is called being honeypotted in fucking spy books, or honey dicked as it was, because she's got the was strapped one on Captain Puke, who I just can't stand, and he is absolutely the worst. But her and her lawyer and Puke are complaining that she shouldn't be punished because she doesn't have the implants and she refused to get them. Meanwhile, there's a scene in season 1 where she cries about like having the implants and punches the door down and carries a grown-ass dude. So the position of the show, she can punch down doors and carry a grown-ass dude, but she's not modified.
Well, yeah, they can't even be consistent. They can't be consistent. It's a problem.
There is no timeline. It's to what every episode has its own timeline now. They're not even trying to coordinate. They can't. These people aren't getting paid enough to coordinate, and they hate what they're doing. They want to be writing, I think, cop shows. I think these are people who couldn't pull off a cop show.
Procedural, yeah, they could.
Well, we've always got a mystery, don't we? And the thing is, these people didn't get the jobs at the police show because what? They're not good at the police procedural.
Well, I will tell you this. People who aren't good at police procedural write Will Trent. It's one of the dumbest shows I've ever seen. It's stupid.
All right. You know what? If you're not good at police procedural, the thing is you don't then go and impose police procedural onto other genres. What is Section 31 for the last 11, 12 years now, right? Hammering down our throats that we need another spy agency. Hey, Stark of Iron. They're hammering down our throats that we need another spy agency to watch over all the people in Starfleet. And now, because they couldn't get their Section 31 show for so long, they made everyone in Starfleet so evil that, like, what do you even need a Section 31 for anymore?
We're all evil. We're Starfleet.
Yeah, I like Starfleet better before it was an evil matriarchy. I hate to say it, but like, think about this: the face of redress against past wrongdoing by the show is that we made the Federation all female, like all the leaders, and they're the most horrible human beings in the world who have the least humane policy. They're xenophobic. They won't save people's lives. They leave the Romulans out there like space immigrant, like space whatever illegals. Okay. You want to BRB, or do you want to split, or it's up to you?
I was trying to keep it private, so you want to talk about it? I got to pay.
Sure.
I have to pay.
Just turn on your avatar for a second.
I've been drinking, so I didn't know if we're going to be leaving quickly or if I should just go and then come back.
Oh, go and come back if you want, but you're set up to split. If anyone else has anything to plug, please go at it.
Anima? Martine?
What?
What?
anything
You
to
said
plug, my
something.
friend?
You
I
said
said
something, Martin.
nothing. I have
Yes, you
said
did. You
nothing.
said something. I heard you.
No.
No, I think we plugged. Well, Military Monday, we're going to be doing Rambo from 2008.
Right.
And it's one of the films
Yeah.
that helped inspire some of the things that are in my book, Vindicated Inc., which you showed the trailer for, and I appreciate it. But I'm going to
No
go
problem.
because I have to go to the
and,
Bottenzimmer.
and tomorrow, the big deal, we're going to have a classic of all classics, 1933's King Kong, covered by Pop Culture Minefield. That should be a
On
blast.
Saturday. It'll be fun. Tom and
All
Gary.
right.
So thanks for having me, Teague, man. It's always fun hanging out with you,
No
brother.
problem. I'll beam you off. Hold on.
Bye,
We'll
y'all.
just get the transporter crew beam this man back to the planet's surface. Bye.
Yeah, can you
Wow,
beam me
that
up,
was-
please? I
Oh,
need to go to
sure.
bed. It's almost 2 a.m. here.
Thank you for coming. I really
Bye.
appreciate it. It was so nice of you to come. Martin, you want to beam out of here too?
Yeah, I need to do something in the house.
Okay, no
But
problem.
man,
I'll talk to you
it
later.
was a pleasure.
Talk to you later, buddy.
I love this one. Bye, man.
Love you, man. Good to see you. Thanks for watching the movie with me. I really appreciate it. All right, and that was just the Admiral. Let's see if I can finish these comments. Let's see. Stark is saying, "Hail the radioactive." Ripping off Alara from the Orville, only with Snark. Would that be when Aaliyah beats down the door, or would that be with? Oh, you mean Aaliyah? Yeah. Well, Una from Strange New Worlds. Yeah. They're having it both ways with that. She had the implants. She talked about getting the implants, and then they had an episode where they said she refused to have implants. So, unless I didn't follow something, and it's always possible I did, because they try to flashbang you, and they sort of like they try to lull you into a place where you don't know what's going on. Closest to Section 31 was when there's hats off to everything, everywhere, all at once. If it's not happened by now, it never will. People are like, I think it's comic resources or whatever, bounding into comics, are saying that it's happening sometime soon. Like they're swearing it's filming, but I don't know. Bounding into comics isn't exactly the Daily News or the New York Times, so I'll put my faith in that when I start to see pictures from them on set filming something that's identifiably not what we think it could be, which is a Star Trek Discovery or whatever, something like that. I think the Discovery will be back first. We'll have more than enough time to figure that one out. But let's see. Snort Poopus, take care, humans. Thank you. Snooty, does that mean you're leaving or you're saying goodbye to my guests? Either way, hey, goodbye to you. Hello, Mr. House Party 6, my friend. It's good to see you. Read by nature. Dead bag, you old pirate. Section 31 is, I guess, is it Deep Space Nine, right? It's fairly called Deep Space Nine, Section 31. So it's hard to say. It is Star Trek-ish. It's not the greatest Star Trek. I personally would improve it right now by calling it Provision 31. When I rolled that out, the idea that before there were only 30 things more important than having a really underhanded, not so cool spy agency that ran messed up stuff all the time, was more like Provision 31 would have sounded so much better than Section 31. You know what I mean? It's like, treachery is woven into our Constitution. That was a mistake to make it Section 31. It wasn't even well thought out. Sometimes they made mistakes in real Star Trek too. And Wes Cagle, game over, man. Game over. I guess you haven't checked. We got our ass kicked out there. Dev Mag, Read by Nature says DS9, headed by William Sadler. Oh, thank you. You're welcome so much. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad to have everyone here. Let's see. Sloan was a great character, though. I guess so. Was that the trying to remember where is that from this one, or I don't know. But hey, tomorrow with King Kong, that should be a blast. I can't wait to hear from those guys on that one. You can catch up to Pop Culture Minefield at here's the banner. Here it is. And hey, Mr. House 46. And hello to the Peter Vingham sci-fi. Probably because Starfleet intelligence wasn't catchy enough. They were calling it like Starfleet security in the Picard show. It was weird and dumb. It was weird and dumb. Believe you me. But unpopular take, but I like Peter Weller as the head of Section 31. In the second JJ movie should have stuck with him and No Khan. He's a good actor, and he did a lot with what little JJ gave him. If JJ's good at one thing, I'm ready to admit that he's good at casting. Like, we were all pulling for that first Star Trek recast crew because we kind of liked them personally, and the other people came out and sort of blessed it a little bit. And I like the fact that it was not different continuity, that there had been something to separate the two universes. And that was something that made me very happy as a fan. But, as the JJ verse expanded, it got to be a little crazy. And we immediately saw that they're going to shortcut to things that were going to make the money and pander to the lowest element in their Star Trek approach. And we weren't going to get the kind of high quality Star Trek that we've been used to in days past, which, unfortunately, was something that I took for granted, younger. Thank you, Wes Cagle, my good friend. Thank you very much. You know what? This is my Rumble. You can also catch me there. That didn't seem to work out tonight. Sorry for people who tried to watch on Rumble, but on YouTube, we're looking at some pretty nice success here. It was nice to have all of you here. And what are the other 30 sections? Seriously, because section 31 is like treachery, right? So it's like, we need food, universal foods distribution. Okay, what does so much do? I guess we'll need, merchant ships to protect the food and carry the food around. Okay, that's number 2. What else we need? Well, I guess we'll be bringing the food out there because we'll be getting ores. So the ships will have valuable stuff on them coming back. I guess we need maybe a semi-military. Okay, we'll call it Starfleet. That seems to be like your Starfleet hierarchy of needs. Call me crazy, right? I mean, yeah, I'm using my emojis, huh? It was a rogue group within Starfleet, not official, or that's how it should have been. Yeah. When you call them Section 31, it implies that they're written right in there. And that, I think, is bad Star Trek because, then you're making the Federation the bad guy. And that's something I don't think you should ever do. I guess for all of you who are here for the first time, I'll end up by just giving you my Star Trek. It's about 11 points of what makes something Star Trek. Now, you don't have to do all of these, but if you do most of them or a good deal of them, you will achieve Star Trekkiness. And if you apply this to things that aren't Star Trek, you'll find that if people do most of them, it turns into a sci-fi adventure show in the spirit of Star Trek that you can very much enjoy. So episodic, think about something like that. So that's a big thing. About an hour. That's, unless we're talking about a movie here, of course. Good enough for regular TV or a real movie theater release, not streaming. The Federation needs to be good. And if it's not the Federation, your Rebel Alliance or whatever has to be good. No gender hatred. We can't have that in our stories. It doesn't make them any fun. Okay. We go to planets and mostly explore. That is very important in making something Star Trek and Star Trek like. We care about Starfleet and Starfleet members just because they're Starfleet. And Starfleet is military. And in Starfleet, which is military, they mostly explore, but when they do it, even then, they're using military terms, military protocol, military ranks to get them through it. It's fun. Star Trek's supposed to be fun. God's sakes, remember when Star Trek was fun and it wasn't just the end of all life everywhere or whatever they would say every given week with this stupid bullshit that they hand us. And it should visualize scientific ideas without having anti-science, like photonic sonar. You've thrown together at least enough of a deniable, plausible term that it doesn't sound objectively stupid as sonar in space. Photonic sonar, I'm starting to think maybe it's like special light or tachyon beams. My mind is working in the right way with that. It's relying on previous Star Trek rather than overly relying on previous Star Trek. When you need to break the rules a little bit, you apply some good music, you try to get your actor into a position where people can relate to him and want to be like him. And you try to have people behind them and rooting for them. Their tech level can't be below ours. That never works out. And of course, the crew must be mostly moral. And that is how you make a Star Trek-like show. You hit about 8 of them or more, you're going to run into a formula where people are going to come back with an appetite for space adventure. So before we end the day's festivities, let's see what we got on the poll. Ladies and gentlemen, ending now. What grade do you give Star Trek the Motion Picture? It's gotten 46 votes, ladies and gentlemen. At A, 52%. Well, let's end it in 3, 2, 1, and ending. All right, so let's see. Here it is. Okay, in order. Wow, it goes A, B, C, D. In order of choice is the order of the popularity of what happened. We have choice A is an A. 52% of our audience give this movie an outright A. 19% give this movie an outright B. A considerable amount of people, 17%, about 1 in 4, 3.5. They didn't like it at all that much. They gave it a C, so didn't hate it, but didn't love it. And then D and F, 10%. That really shocks me, guys. I mean, I don't know if we got a couple of troll votes. We're just having some fun. I mean, I know we can fool around and have some fun. And if you did, that's fine too. But I think this great movie did well. I want to thank everybody who is here. Snorty, Section 8. Yeah, so is Klinger. Remember him from Star Trek Security? I wonder whatever happened to him. Oh, hey, welcome back. I'm glad you could rejoin us. It's nice to have everybody here. It was great to have so many guests here on my ship. Let's see. Funny thing is, they're all talking about female empowerment for 09, and the conversation revolving around bringing more males per F&F. People seem to conveniently forget that. Yeah, people, honestly, we saw some stuff this week with Nelson Peltz where he showed that he was a lot smarter than the people from Disney, and we saw that on the Friday show, and that's another whole conversation. Kurtzman couldn't even come up with convincing technobabble. No, the sonar in space, like photonic sonar, like I got to give you something on that at least. Like it doesn't offend me. You could slide that one right by. Honestly, if you put that one honestly was pitched right over the plate. Photonic sonar. Honestly, a strike, and that's believable Star Trek to me. Anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. My name is Admiral Teag. I hope you liked the show. Please hit those like and follow buttons on my channel if you would. If not, hey, you're cool too. I'm glad I got to meet so many new people here. From my guests from Pop Culture Breakdown, I can only say thank you to all of them and how cool they've been to me. And definitely look forward to learning a couple of things tomorrow if I make it on that movie watch for tomorrow. That should be great. King Kong, wow, such a historic and important movie. Really, I guess at that point, people were probably saying up until King Kong, which is like, I guess famously 1933, right? And if you're watching somewhere else, let me just throw this into the chat here. This is me on YouTube, in case you're watching anywhere but on my channel. This is me on YouTube in the chat. I'm dropping my link right in there as soon as I spell correct it. There we go. And that's where you can find me if you're watching me elsewhere. I'm Admiral Teag. And I really appreciate how much people came out tonight to see Star Trek the Motion Picture. You know what? Star Trek, maybe we could save it. Maybe we can't. We could sure as hell remember it. Maybe in 10, 12 years, be like the people from Mad Max Road Warrior, right? I'm looking into the past now, into the back. And all I see people looking through from the before time, it's like, it's my turn to tell the tale. I think it might just be like Road Warrior that way. But I want to thank everyone who joined me tonight. I want to thank Deb Mag. I want to thank James Caserta. I want to thank Radioactive, my friend. It's so good to see you. Peter Bankman Fansite. Marriage. Oh, thank you. It's so nice of you to say that. Yeah, please hit the like and follow buttons. And those of check out my buddies on Pop Culture Minefield. Look them up. And it's great to see everyone Radioactive. Hail and Place. Or Hail and Play Ice. Hail and Play Ice. Okay. It's nice to meet you. Haven't seen you around here before. Thanks for coming by. Read by Nature. Great to see you. Dev Mag, you old pirate, man. I'm gonna say it every time I see you. I love that avatar. Mr. House Party 6, it's so good to see you, my friend. You are a pal indeed. Snorter Poopus, good to see you. And Anima was here. Read by Nature, it was such a pleasure that you dropped by. We had Wes Cagle here. James, I believe I did greet you. And of course, again, the incredible Mr. House Party 6 hanging out here. Penny was here. We had Wes Cagle. We had Shinatsky for a while, and that was great. And then we also had James Caserta, who was in the comments. Stark of Iron jumped in the comments for a little while there. Andy Morrow said hello. We had Snorter Poopus Cuber. We had, of course, with the bringing the great facts and the great jokes. We had, of course, again, my pal Radioactive, Dev Mag, Revan McLeod was here. Check out Revan McLeod, ladies and gentlemen. Stark of Iron again in the chat. Let me see. I don't want to miss anybody. I want to thank all of you so much for being here. Ray Lucard was in the chat. It's good to see you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Lady V Elements. I thought it was Lady Fifth Elements, but you set me straight. It's Lady V Elements. She was clear on that. Tetrarch of Apathy was here. It was good to see you. Bankman's fan site was here with us hanging out hardcore. Shinatsky as well. Hardcore hangout. Thank you so very, very much. Radioactive here from the very beginning. I finally did it. I was recovered enough to come out here and do this. I don't really have a lot of pain in my jaw. That bad tooth is gone, and thank God, not a very visible one. So all's well that ends well. I no longer have COVID. Everything should be great from here on in. You guys have been really generous and really sweet. I want to thank all of you who've come by. Penny was here. It was so great to see you. And Hell and Play Ice. You really were here for the long haul. Thank you so much. I'm very, very flattered that you would choose to spend so much time with me. And Masters Maniac Mexico, thank you so much for coming and making sure you haven't been unsubbed. Everybody check and make sure you're still subbed to your favorite creators. Tetrarch, Gap After Dark, my good friend, and so many other people. Wes Cagle, I think I mentioned you, but I can mention you again. Rev McLeod, I mentioned, but I can mention you again too. Phantom Boomer, Explorers, it was so good to see you here, my friend. Thank you so much. Yeah, me too. It's so good to see Monkey Jeebus here. That was really cool too. It was great to see all of you and talk some Star Trek and have a good time. Sean Carter, the sci-fi model guy, was here. He was very generous with some super chats, and we had his link up there. You should definitely consider Sean Carter's sci-fi models. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if it's on his channel. I'll play the sci-fi model guy commercial. It's great. He's fun. Sean Carter is also very funny, among other things. He made his own commercial. I don't know if he put it on his channel. Let's say videos. A quick unboxing. I do not think he has put the commercial on there, and I've skimmed back through most of it. He did a pretty funny commercial. You can catch that on Tony Stark's Tower After Hours show. But let's see if I got everyone in there. Lemon Pie, Radioactive again, Snorter Poopus Cube Burr, the Phantom Boomer Explores, all of you, the Peter Vinkman fan site, Revan McLeod. I owe all of you so much. Gap After Dark, my good friend Ray Lucard, Penny, all of you. I owe you all so much. I'm so flattered that you choose to spend your time with me. Real Wade, thank you for coming by and spending time with me. And it was just, what is more of a compliment? Destiny Captain, hello, sir. Oh yeah, here. No belt devices are primarily for medical purposes. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you can see. We had a lot of chats, and I was hosting. I did my best. I did try to get to every single one. So if you stuck around, I did try to make sure that paid off for you. But I really, oh, cool. Oh, good. That's good. Good stuff. We'll talk. Good. Hey, we got another person back at the helm here to help us out. Okay, Uhura is smoking hot in every episode of Star Trek she's in. But yeah, And she's hot in this too. Yeah, she still looks the same. I wish they could have put a better outfit on her. Yeah, check out Pop Culture Minefield. Buddy Hepburn, thank you for stopping by, man. Rod Thunderheart was here. That was really cool of him to come by. Check out Rod Thunderheart and all his stuff. He's over on Twitter and in other places. He's really cool. E. Clay Thomason, poor Chekhov gets injured in every movie. I know. Like, that's a trope I noticed like not too long ago. I was like, I never realized this before, but Chekhov kind of like he just gets hurt a lot, you know, and that's just the way it goes. Comic Relief Crusader, I did not see you here earlier. I'm sorry if I missed you. Oh, I did see you. Sorry. Yeah, duh. It's been that long since I said goodbye that I'm kind of forgetting the people I said goodbye to already. But I think that's it. Jonathan Hancock. Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you. I'm sorry if I'm a little late, if I missed your name. I'm still throwing back the M5. M5, thank you for being here. This unit must endure. Sorry, that was the COVID making me verklempt again. Hello, Lemon Pie. I'm so glad you were here. You've been here for me for so much of this, so much of the run. I love you, Lemon Pie. Canadian Spider-Man was here for a little while. It was so great to see all these people, and what a successful watch party. I can't tell you how grateful I am to have had all of you here and to see, you know, what we've all done together on behalf of Star Trek. And in the name of the idea that Star Trek should be a good show that mostly makes sense, or a good movie that mostly makes sense, that isn't ridiculous, that holds up to some scrutiny. And I want to thank Martin, and I want to thank Gary, and I want to thank Keith, and I want to thank Anima, and I want to thank everyone else at Pop Culture Minefield who's been so cool to me. And I want to thank each and every single last one of you. Carla Burton was in the chat, my good friend. And she will be back with us hopefully soon too. And then, you know, as I look here, I just want to say, Sean Carter, you're too generous, sir. Devil's Due was a phase 2. It makes sense that Ardra claimed the Enterprise is her property. Kirk's line was, "What does the devil need with the starship?" But yeah, well, that makes sense. I get it. Yeah, well, why not reuse that one at that point? And let's see. Sean Carter also says, "So I wish I could join on this one, but I have a long drive ahead of me. Hell, well, I hope I kept you entertained. I hope you did a good job. I hope that y'all were happy being here with me. I was very happy to have you with me. And I'll be back. I guess tonight is, it's Thursday. I think I'm feeling well enough, depending upon how this pulled tooth feels tomorrow, because gosh knows that's when the pain can really kick in. Maybe I'll be able to join you tomorrow and do some stuff. But it's been a great show, and I've really enjoyed having all you guys along for the ride. And as far as Sean Carter goes, you know,
Incoming transmission.
thank you so much for what you gave me. I'm really appreciative. In fact, here it is. This one's for you, Sean.
It's a letter from our friends.
I'm sorry that I believe it's not so cool Will Wheaton, but you know, I do love all of you very much. And please, whatever you're doing, be careful out there. A great YouTuber you may have heard of. I think his name is Doomcock. He said maybe we should start being a little kinder and nicer to each other and looking for some positivity, because we're not going to get it from woke Hollywood. And he's right. But we can still be here to get some from fraternity and some, you know, even sorority or whatever, or some just humanity. How about that? Some good old-fashioned humanity out of the things that brought us together, like a really good 2-hour and 17-minute movie that, though a little bit flawed, was still highly entertaining, kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, and had me loving life as a little kid. I wanted to be an astronaut. I thought that this was the future of mankind. Not so sure anymore the way things go these days. This time around, life, you know, what we make of it. Please, like Doomcock said, consider being kinder and nicer to each other. You know, just think about this one. Somewhere out there, you know, honestly, somewhere out there, maybe not too far from you, there's somebody who's doing time because they deleted somebody with their phaser on full power, and they then were you know, what do you call it? They put their phaser on full delete and deleted someone, and the police, never big fans of that thing, will put you in jail for a very long time. And for that, so think about it. People who did something regrettable over Tickle Me Elmo might not be out of jail now. So, let your judgment be tempered, people. You know what? We've all got one planet. We got to share it together. I'm not trying to be peace loving granola. Don't let people walk all over you, and stand up for yourselves. But you don't need me to do that. I'm just a Star Trek broadcaster. But I would say, don't wait for anyone but yourself to do it. And even if you're religious, Lord helps those who help themselves. Stay away from the evils of horrific communism. That's just going to make everything all the more worse. Check out Stark of Iron. Thank you, Wes Cagle, so much. Thank you, everyone who mods for me and who has a wrench on this channel. Deeply appreciate you guys. I love you very much, and I love that you stand up for me and that you get the word out there about our guests. And Section 8 starring Jamie Forrest Klinger. They would have like Star Trek Klinger. There would be a Star Trek Klinger by now. They took all this empowerment, went from 09 convention and released the mails per FNF. Seem to completely forget that. We addressed that one, but yeah, Star Trek is a joke. Trek is a joke. It's too bad, isn't it? Look what they destroyed, huh? We really had something. I think it's fixable. I think it's savable. I think we still can save Star Trek. We're seeing some things today are possible good news. And if you don't think that I'm going to try to ask Tom Connors if he could please tell me if there might be one or two things he could possibly know about the Star Trek contract when I see him tomorrow, believe me, I will. Hey, Laszlo Panaflex, man, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while. Hey, it's really good to see you, Laszlo. One of my, I believe Laszlo's one of my more early on subs. Are you around from Rings of Power, right? And it's good to see you. And thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. And I guess Carla would get very upset if I didn't do all the things that someone should do before they end their Star Trek stream. So this should be the opposite. Maybe this is the opposite of she was attacked by what was essentially a robot.
The Admiral says they're communicating.
No, that wasn't the one I want. Here we go.
Computer deactivate Iguana. How dare you!
Yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you guys think of that one? Do you like that one? Let's see. Mr. House Party 6 says kapla. All right. Listen, I love you guys. It's been a really fun time. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm down for 2 shows or 1. Maybe in the morning I'll just hang around with you and do something a little less strenuous. But then, afternoon before Doomcock certainly is something I'll be around for, or I'm setting my sights on. And, now that I'm no longer testing positive, I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, nope, that's not me anymore. And I feel great. And it's just nice for it all to be over. I have on occasion run into him because when I would go record music, the place that they recorded some of the voices sometimes on that show for was like that backup place when they needed like last minute stuff. And the first rate studio was the top name studio was busy, but a guy with just as good equipment with a less good name was unbooked. They started going there, and then they made it their preferred studio. And I also know the voice of the bar of soap. He's my friend's kid was the voice of the bar of soap. I knew him through music. Good people. Anyway, we love you guys, and I think I have to leave on brand, right? So we turned off the iguana. I guess that means that I should probably beam out of here. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I haven't decided exactly when. Follow me on Twitter. I love you all.